weather conditions. I'm not sure that anybody is. Temperature is 23 degrees. The wind chill factor is -5. Forecast is for more snow, up to 8 inches perhaps. 15 to 20 mile an hour winds, and it's just a very pleasant winter afternoon at Shea Stadium. I'd like to say it's a good afternoon, but I can't. I'm Pat Summerall with John Madden. Just to give you an idea of some of the steps that the teams have taken to try to stay warm, this odd-looking object is what the Buccaneers will be wearing under their helmets throughout the afternoon. The Jets have taken some unusual measures, too. Almost all of them are wearing pantyhose. We had some, but the package is empty. I got to ask you, John, what happened?
I went down to the locker room to see what the players were wearing, and they were showing me these pantyhose. They said that they're the best thing you can wear, so they gave us a package, and I took them out and put them on.
Believe it or not, he's got them on. John, when you get in weather conditions like this, sometimes I think it's hard to concentrate on the real reason you're here, and that's to play football.
Well, you know, we said that we were in the locker rooms, and both teams seem to be talking more about the weather. You know, what do you do in this type of weather? What are we going to wear? How cold is it? They seem to be talking about that more than about the game, what they're going to do in the game.
But they are going to play, and we are going to watch a couple of key matchups on both sides.
Well, you know, some interesting ones. Tampa Bay is starting today. They're starting Sean Farrell, a rookie who's the #1 draft choice. They're starting him at right tackle, and look who he has to block. He has to block Mark Gastineau. So that'll be an interesting one to watch. Then on the other side, one of the best tackles in the league is Chris Ward of the Jets, and he's going to be going against Leroy Selman. So there's going to be a couple interesting matchups in that line that we can watch today, Pat.
All right, John, kickoff, there were reports earlier this afternoon that it might be delayed as much as a half hour. They were having a devil of a time getting the tarp off the field. They finally wound up having to cut it and take it off in strips, but they did accomplish what they set out to do. The field is certainly not in ideal condition, but at least they won't have to play on top of the tarpaulin. Bill Capice kicks off for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he's got it teed up at 35. Kurt Son and Bruce Harper back deep for the Jets. Footing is going to be treacherous. It already is, and it'll get worse as the afternoon progresses. A -5, the wind chill factor. No score. The 2 and 3 Bucs about to kick off to the 4 and 1 Jets. Jets have won 4 in a row. Their piece. It'll be Bruce Harper at the 6. Harper with some room. Harper still on his feet. Harper out to about the 38-yard line. A 30-yard kickoff return by Bruce Harper. Here are the lineups. On offense, the Jets have Richard Todd at quarterback, Freeman, McNeil, and Mike Augustiniak, the runners, Wesley Walker, and Derek Gaffney starting in place of Johnny Lamb Jones. Up front, a fine offensive line, Ward, Waldemore, Fields, Alexander, Powell, and the tight end is Jerome Barkham, the captain emeritus. 1st and 10, Jets, their own 37. McNeil, right side for about 3 or 4. That's the part of the field Dave Logan made the stop. Where they are now is the part of the field that was uncovered first. On defense, the Bucs in their 3-4. The down linemen are Stalls, Logan in the middle, and Leroy Selman. The linebackers in the Tafine group, Hawkins, Johnson, Scott Brandley, and Hugh Green. And the secondary, Norris Thomas, Johnny Ray Smith starting, Cedric Brown, and Neil Colty, who's having a fine year. 2nd and 6. Todd to throw. Double team on Selman. Todd has McNeil wide open. He's to the Buccaneer 40, 35. Mike Washington and Neil Colsey finally brought him down. 24 yards for number 24.
We see him coming underneath here. He hits Freeman McNeil coming from left to right after the linebackers and secondary had dropped deep.
1st down for the Jets. This is McNeil over the right side. Jumps over a pile, tries to cut back, slips down. Leroy Selman in pursuit from the other side, all the way across the field to take him down.
You know, as we see Freeman McNeil there, yesterday when we were talking to Walt Michaels, he said the way he tried to build this club is get the offensive line first. Get the Chris Wards, the Marvin Powells, get that going. Joe Fields is the center, and then bring in your back later. And that's what he's done with Freeman McNeil. He said now his line is ready to block for his back.
2nd and 8. Richard Todd having a fine year. Freeman McNeil is the lone setback. Todd will throw. Outside to McNeil again. They had this one designed and set up. And once again in quick pursuit is Leroy Selman. He's everywhere. Hugh Green over with an assist.
That was an interesting play. It was a screen pass out here to Freeman McNeil. And you usually pull your guard or tackle. Now watch who pulls from the end zone. Watch Todd. Now watch the center. There goes Joe Fields, number 65. He gets out there. The center's out in front, but he really doesn't get the block there that's needed for Freeman McNeil. But they pulled the center to lead on the screen.
Scott Durking and Bruce Harper now, the two jet runners. The two wide receivers wide to the right. Gaffney and Walker. Bruce Harper, who came out of the backfield to take the pass completion about a yard short of the first down from Richard Todd.
That's one thing, of course, on 3rd down, when you throw a 3rd down pass, you always want to get up beyond the 1st down marker. They didn't, and the Jets are deciding, it looks like, to go for it on 4th down.
A lot of no-shows. This might set the all-time no-show record.
You have to be tough to show today.
Or you have to have a pair of pantyhose.
Then that's weird.
4th and 1, Dwayne Crutchfield. Scott Durking has the first down.
The decision. This is where they have 3 backs. We'll watch it here from ground level. And once we see a guard pull, we see Durkin come across. Now he knows he has to get a yard. He drives it, and we see the linebackers come in, but it was still enough for the first down. Let's watch the linebackers. We see the 2 linebackers stacked out there. See, they come to the outside, but Durkin had enough momentum to get that first.
First down, Jets. Scrimmage is the Buccaneer 24. No score as yet. This part of the field is treacherous. The whole field is treacherous. Now it's Derek Gaffney in motion. Todd on the rollout, being chased. Gets rid of it. Knocked away at the last minute. Intended for Derek Gaffney. It was Johnny Smith who batted it out of bounds.
And one of the things Walt Michaels told us that he's going to use a lot of 2 tight ends today. And we just, on that last play, the Jets had 2 tight ends. The reason, he said he wants to control Hugh Green, the linebacker of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who's one of the best in this league. He's only in his 2nd year, but what a player he is.
So for that reason, we'll see a lot of number 82 in the Jet lineup. That's Mickey Schuler. Markham starts. Bobby Jones, one of the Jet receivers down. Markham out to the left. This is McNeil to the left. McNeil down to about the 16. Cedric Brown on the stop of the play.
See, it was 2nd and long, and that's a passing down. Now, what this is a draw play. We see Todd come back, hand on a delay to McNeil. Pass rush starts up the field. Linebackers dropped off. Good drop block there on Hugh Green, and McNeil picked up about 8 yards.
In his 2nd year, Freeman McNeil checks out. The Jets do a lot of alternating the setbacks. Dwayne Crutchfield is now one of them, and Scott Durking is the other. 3rd and 2, and it's Durking to the left side. Touchback, does not get the first down. He got maybe a yard. So they've got that situation facing them again.
That 4th down, Walt Michaels looks like he's going to go for it. You can tell that look he has in his eyes that he's not going to kick a field goal. You just, you know, this formation the Jets have, they have the 3 running backs. They call it their tough formation, T-U-F-F.
That, believe it or not, is John McKay wearing that funny face mask. that we showed you at the beginning of the broadcast. That's how close they are to the first down, about a half-yard away.
It'll be interesting to see if they go to the right again. This will be their third short yardage situation, and they've gone to the right each time.
They have Marlon Powell, and they have the tough back over there, Tom Newton.
And I bet they go there again.
Long count. They go the same play again. Durkin. This is McNeil, not Durkin. And he got the first down.
A good second effort there, because we'll see Cecil Johnson, a linebacker, number 56. He'll come across. Now watch him, 56, right there in the middle of the screen. Watch him. He'll come across, takes on a block, reads it, gives McNeil a shot. McNeil slides off to the right, and then boom, up there for the first down.
First down, Jets at the Tampa Bay 13. No scores yet. Todd looking left. Wesley Walker tiptoes down the sideline. Mark Putney, Johnny Smith knocked him out of bounds.
Here we see Jimmy Ray Smith. He's starting his first game at corner, number 22. Just a little quick out by Wesley Walker. Smith was playing an inside technique. He gave Walker the out because he didn't want him to get a post in there on him. And Walker picked up about 9 yards on it.
Walker, of course, had that great night with the 3 touchdown passes against Detroit. It's 2nd and 1. Ball's at the 4. Todd pitches out to McNeil. McNeil, touchdown, Jets.
Let's watch it again. I'll tell you, that was a great drive for any time of the year and any kind of weather. Watch this. It's a little pitch out here to McNeil. He has his tackle, Big Marvin Powell, 79. Great block. Boom! Just put him on the ground. Cut off it right into the end zone. 12 plays on that drive. That was a great drive.
What a super block by Powell. Leahy's extra point is good. Watch that block again.
Let's watch that. Here's... Now, the tight end there, the outside man, is Jerome Barkham. See, he comes out, he hooks the linebacker on his side, Andy Hawkins, and then Powell takes out the corner, and that's what allows Freeman McNeil to get in that end zone. I love it down there.
2 good blocks help set up McNeil's touchdown, and the Jets break on top, 7-0.
Decades ago, new vineyards appeared in the hills and valleys of California. The finest European varietal wine grapes began to flourish on the vines. And a new wine was born. A wine whose flavor, quality, and consistency were praised by critics throughout the world. Today, that wine is America's most preferred white wine. The Chablis Blanc of Ernest and Julio Gallo. All the best.
Introducing the totally new 1983 Toyota Tercel. Its front-wheel drive is only the tip of the iceberg. This Tercel is the lowest-priced Toyota you can buy. It has more room than any other subcompact and gives you more mileage than ever before. The new Toyota Tercel. It's a new standard in front-wheel drive, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. Tercel!
A 12-play drive by the Jets. They went 62 yards after a fine kickoff return by Harper. They kept the ball 6 minutes, 10 seconds. Richard Todd was 4 out of 5 in the drive. This is Johnny Ray Smith, who can't find the handle. And now he finally does, and he lost the ball. Fumble. And the Jets have it. Tom Newton is the Jet who made the recovery.
We'll see it again here. Johnny Ray Smith, see, he doesn't get the ball here. Fumble goes underneath him, finally picks it up, gets control of it. Now he's starting up into his wedge. You see, he gets there a little late. The timing's off. Now watch, just as he started in there, a shoulder pad hit right on the ball and knocked it out.
And Tom Newton picked it off in the air. First down, Jets. At the Tampa Bay 14, they already lead 7-0. Todd goes right to work. A lot of time, has a man open. Jerome Barkham, the tight end.
You know what the Jets are doing is a lot of underneath stuff. He had a receiver deep in the end zone. Barkham started out and then came underneath, and he hit him underneath. Let's watch the tight end here, number 83. We see Barkham. He'll start to the outside. Now, he delays. You see, he lets McNeil come inside and deep, and then he just comes underneath.
A 9-yard pickup makes it 2nd and 1. The ball's at the Tampa Bay 5. They operate now from the I formation with McNeil deep, and McNeil the ball carrier. McNeil has 2 touchdowns.
McNeil darn near looked bored by it all, didn't he? Went in there. Tell you, the Jets have found something running to their right side that they really think is pretty good. And until Tampa Bay starts doing something about it, I think they're going to see it all day.
Leahy will try to make it 14-0. And does. And the Buccaneers still haven't run a play from scrimmage. 14 yards, 2 plays. Here's the touchdown again.
Let's watch it. From the I formation, the Jets had 2 tight ends. We see a little pitch out from the I to McNeil. Good blocking by Barkham, stringing that linebacker out. And by the time Hawkins, the linebacker, got off of Barkham, Freeman McNeil was in the end zone.
So Freeman McNeil, who's averaging 5.6 yards to carry, has 2 touchdowns already.
I like it.
If you really like it, I really like it. We can help you get it. We're GMAC. We want it. We're GMAC Financing.
When it's time for that new family car, GMAC can help you get it with financing to fit your budget. It's available right here at your GM dealer.
Now at participating GM dealers, get low 10.9 financing on new 82 models.
A special Christmas gift from Radio Shack. The TRS-80 color computer at $100 off.
Instant loading program packs turn our color TV into a game arcade.
The color computer is also an education center.
There are over 30 games available.
And it's perfect for home management.
She's right. With a programmable, expandable computer, you can do more than just play games. Why, our son's even learning how to program.
Save $100 on the TRS-80 color computer, only at Radio Shack, the computer experts.
Monday.
We'll stand by you, okay? But not too close.
Can the square peg save Jennifer from working class blues?
Like it's bad enough I have to wear aqua.
That's the second scoring drive, just 2 plays. After the fumble recovery, Leahy kicks off again. This will be Michael Morton handling the kickoff this time. And he is really tracked down to the hard frozen turf by Bob Crable.
You know, Bob Crable, here he comes down the field. He was the #1 draft choice from Notre Dame of the Jets this year. Watch him. He comes down, takes on a block. Boy, those guys get bumped and hit around coming down on coverage. Plays off the block, right in there to the tackle. Watch it. Head up there, arms across.
Doug Williams has him out quickly at the 25. Hand off to James Wilder. Wilder over to the left, breaks a couple of tackles, stays on his feet. Kenny Neal knocked him down. Let's check the Buccaneer lineup now. There are some changes. Williams, the quarterback. Owens, Wilder, the runners. Kevin House and Gordon Jones, the wide receivers. Up front is where the changes are. Revis, Snell, Leonard starting at center. Greg Roberts at right guard. Sean Farrell at right tackle. The first game, as John Madden said, he's ever played at tackle. And the veteran tight end, Jimmy Giles. 2nd and 5. House split wide to the right, out of your picture. Giles in motion. This is Owen. Owen maybe a yard, not much more. John Woodring and Marty Lyons make the stop. Jets play 4 down linemen: Gastineau, Abdul Salam, Marty Lyons, and Kenny Neal in place of Joe Klecko. Greg Buttle, Lance Mell, John Woodring in place of Stan Blinka. Jackson Holmes, Ray, and Schroy in the secondary. Mark Gastineau, 6'6", at least 270.
How'd you like to be Sean Farrell today? The good news is you're #1 draft choice. You're starting in your first year. The bad news is you have to block him all day.
Williams back to throw. Hard to rush. Wilder shy of the first down. The pressure was on from Marty Lyons and from Gastineau.
You know, one of the things we were talking about yesterday is sometimes a pass rush doesn't get a sack, but it forces a quarterback to do something that he doesn't want to do. Now watch Doug Williams here. He's trying to throw deep. He couldn't throw to the left. He had to move, and all he could do was throw a short pass, 4th down, and they have to punt. That was caused by the defensive line.
Larry Swider is the Buccaneer punter. Bruce Harper, very dangerous, is number 42. Timeout. This will be a Buccaneer timeout. They had a little problem getting the alignment squared away, so they use the timeout. They trail 14-0.
This amazing innovation from Subaru overcomes 2 problems: bad weather and the hassle of shifting gears. It combines the extra measure of safety and traction of on-demand 4-wheel drive with the ease of an automatic transmission. Now there's 4-wheel drive anybody can drive. Subaru, inexpensive and built to stay that way.
Jim O'Brien and family recently lost their home. Today, they're getting it all back.
Allstate update. Home replacement cost guarantee.
Unlike 9 out of 10 homeowners today, the O'Briens never had to worry. They had more than a guard against inflation. They had Allstate's promise to pay to rebuild their home right down to the door knocker, no matter what the cost. That's Allstate's guarantee. Put yourself in good hands.
With the lineup squared away now, Larry Swider. It is hard to tell what direction the wind blows in this stadium. They have an open end at the north end, so to say he has the wind at his back, I don't know. You just really can't tell. Swider fumbles, gathers it in and gets it off. Harper comes over. Harper is hit, breaks the tackle. Penalty marker down. And John, I think you have a rather interesting con job about the direction of the wind here at Shea Stadium.
I sure do. You know, years before they put those flags up in the goalpost, you never knew which way the wind would blow here at Shea Stadium. It's going to be a penalty against the Jets, blocking from behind, a 10-yard penalty. And Weeb Eubank, you see those flags up there? The league made every stadium in the league put those up so everyone knew the direction that the wind would blow. Well, Weeb Eubank used to have on the second deck a flag so that his players would know which way. And he told me one time, he said, John, he says, you're a friend. He called me Johnny. He said, Johnny, you're a friend of mine, and I'm going to tell you, that's where you look to see how the wind blows. Well, I know that Weeb was, wouldn't tell me the truth, so I never watched it all day.
And it turns out it was the truth.
It was the truth.
First down, Jets. Raymond McNeil spins to the left side. Fumble. Buccaneers say they have it. And they do have it. Scott Brantley made the recovery. That, of course, was when Weeb was coaching the Jets and John Madden was coaching Oakland.
That's right. Let's watch Scott Brantley right here. He takes on the guard, plays off the guard. Now, McNeil, you see, he lost the ball when he started to spin. And Brantley was right there to pick it up. That could be a big turnaround for the Buccaneers. They're down 14-0. They needed something like that.
Could get them right back into the contest.
It was born over a decade ago in the finest wine-growing regions of America. It was created from the finest wine grapes that could be grown and brought to perfection by the most experienced winemakers in the world. It is the extraordinary white wine that has shared more of the best of times than any wine made. The wine, Gallo Chablis Blanc, America's premier white wine. From Ernest and Julio Gallo, all the best.
Of all the economy cars in America, many have front-wheel drive traction. But of all those front-wheel drive cars, only these four have a flat engine profile with an extremely low center of gravity for outstanding handling and traction. And every single one of them is a Subaru. Subaru, inexpensive and built to stay that way.
Monday,
We're never going to bring this guy down if we don't do it now.
a grocery store holdup puts Cagney and Lacey on the trail of a notorious gun runner. Monday,
You really can't overemphasize the importance of turnovers. In fact, John McKay says that's the one single reason for their turnaround.
You look at the first 3 games, they were -7, and they lost all 3 games. The last 2 games have been +8, and they've won those 2 games.
1st and 10 at the Jet 24. Handoff is to Wilder. Hit behind the line of scrimmage. Greg Buttle. These are other scores. Detroit 10-0 over Green Bay. That's a surprise. Billy Sims scored the Lion touchdown. And that's no surprise. Minnesota 7, Baltimore 0. 25-yard pass from Tommy Kramer to Sammy White. Here, it looks like Minnesota. 2nd down and about 14, it appears. 13, we'll call it. Lone setback is Wilder. Doug Williams drops the throw. Chased by Gastineau. Wilder can't quite come down with it. Williams back was intended for James Wilder. 3rd and 13.
As we said again, it was a screen pass. He's trying to dump one out here to the right. You see now he starts here. Now Gastineau gets right between him and Wilder, and he had to throw the ball just a little high.
It'll be 3rd and 13 now. Treacherous part of the field where they are now. House comes out wide to the right. Gordon Jones and Gerald Carter both wide left. Penalty markers all over the place. Williams gets away from the jet rush, led by Gastineau once more.
And the penalty will be against the guy who was supposed to block Gastineau, and that's Sean Farrell. He moved before the ball was snapped.
No play.
Sometimes you do that in pass protection. You know you have to block him. Now watch Gastineau here. See Farrell move there. 62. Gastineau is lined up outside, and he knows that he has to get outside, so he just leaves a little too soon.
The kind of defense that the Jets play enables Gastineau to be wider than most defensive ends might be.
For 2 reasons. One, it's a 4-man line, and 2, they usually stack a linebacker inside of them.
3rd and 18. Back at the 33-yard line now. Carter was in motion. Williams, incomplete. For an update on what's happening around the league, let's go to Brent Musburger.
Pat and John, do you remember what happened Monday night when Smith, the cornerback, was burned by Walker? Watkins, his replacement, intercepted for the Lions, setting up this touchdown by Billy Sims. And the Lions right now, Pat and John, are playing with a lot of emotion. Back to Shea Stadium.
There is a lot of emotion here, too, in the stands as well as on the field. Just trying to stay warm. This is Swider. You're trying to go out of bounds with this one, I imagine. Aims for the corner. Might have gotten it. 32-yard punt, no return. It went into the end zone. I thought perhaps he cut it finally enough, but he didn't. So it remains the New York Jets 14 on 2 touchdowns by Freeman McNeil, and Tampa Bay nothing.
world and make it shine. You can do it. You can squeeze that extra something out of life. Yes, you can. You can set a goal and do it. At your own style, do it. It's your world. It's your life. It's your time. Every minute you can do it. Every day. Yes, you can. You can grow in your own way. You can do it. Every night and day.
Visa. You can get a Subaru hatchback with either front-wheel drive or on-demand four-wheel drive. Either way, the most important drive they put you on is in economy drive, with low sticker prices and the kind of mileage that lets you feed your family instead of your car. Subaru, inexpensive and built to stay that way.
Pat Summerall with John Madden at Shea Stadium in New York. 4 minutes remaining first quarter. Jets lead 14-0. Walker is the wide receiver split down at the bottom of your picture. Derek Gaffney now comes out of the backfield in motion. And a handoff to Freeman McNeil, who breaks clear up the middle. First down, good yardage out to the 39. Cedric Brown had to make a stop. An 18-yard pickup.
I'll tell you who does a great job of blocking. Watch the center here, Joe Fields. He takes Dave Logan to the right. Watch him there. 65. Boom. Just turns him, takes him down the line, and Freeman McNeil blasts right through the hole. I'll tell you, that's good blocking up front on a nose tackle, being able to take him and then turn him and then popping that ball right through there.
The lead back, Augustiniak, also got a good block in front of McNeil. That is Neil Colsey, who's just been outstanding for the Buccaneers in the last 2 weeks particularly. That's limping off. Next Saturday, the weather should be a little bit different. We'll be at the Coliseum in Los Angeles for the Los Angeles Rams against the Los Angeles Raiders. First down, Jets at their own 39-yard line. Todd sprints right, throws right to Augustiniak, who is cut down quickly by Mike Washington. There's Colsey on the sideline.
Of course, I had Neil in Oakland for years, and I was talking to him before the game in the locker room, and he said, say some nice things about me, and I'm sure he didn't want me talking about his being injured. He's been having a great year for the Buccaneers, especially the last 2 or 3 games. A lot of turnovers, interceptions, picking up fumbles, making things happen.
Good news about Colsey is that he's not hurt seriously. Just the wind knocked out of him. Draw play, McNeil again. McNeil looked like he might be a yard shy of a first down. Freeman McNeil weighs about 225 pounds. Got that good balance, good speed, good back.
Watch number 63. Now, that's Leroy Selman. And watch the blocking that they do on him. That's Chris Ward taking him first, working to the outside. Then the left guard, Stan Waldemore, comes from his inside.
3rd and 1. McNeil gets the carry again. The Bucs force it quickly. He still gets the first down nevertheless. Good force by Norris Thomas, who came up quickly. McNeil stayed on his feet. It's a rest.
You can see where McNeil has that power from the waist down. You know, he has big hips, big legs, and he's not only quick and fast, but he also has that power to get that last yard or so to finish off a run.
Washington 3-0 over St. Louis. 32 yards by Mark Mosley. The Jets have 7 first downs now. The Bucs have none. Durkin this time over the right side for a couple. Not much doing there. Logan, the nose man, piled up that attempt. Just over a minute left to play in the first quarter, with the Jets leading Tampa Bay 14-0. Jets record 4-1, as good as anybody. And they look just just about as good as anybody right now, too. Second down. They need 8 for the first. They give again to Durking over the right side. Same play, same result. Just a couple. Cecil Johnson made the stop. That's the only difference.
Yeah, one of the things that's impressive about the Jets is the fact that in the American Conference, they lead the conference in offense and in defense. That's balanced.
That's why they're 4-1. 3rd and 6 situation coming up right here. No first downs for the Bucs. Their defense has been playing a lot. Today's the kind of day you like to play a lot, just to stay warm. That'll be the end of the first quarter, and they'll just swap into the field. Walt Michaels, under fire when he first took over as the Jets head coach, under fire as late as last year when his team made the playoffs. But success is on his side now.
Its designation, Minolta Program System X700. It is computerized automation or total creativity. If you choose, you set nothing, even with flash. It is unmanned 35mm photography where camera is robot. It is quartz calendar dating, the Minolta X700, winner of the first European Camera of the Year award. Only from the mind of Minolta.
Aerodynamics do give a car good manners on the road.
Jackie Stewart, consultant to the Ford Motor Company.
Because not only do they allow the car to sit more positively on the road, but of course they give them a better fuel consumption factor and they give them quietness inside the cabin of the car.
A well-designed aerodynamic shape in a car can give you better grip and adhesion.
To the critical driver, aerodynamics are very important.
And Ford has it now.
We're throwing a beer party in Brooklyn. The people don't know the name of the beer they're drinking.
It's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. It's got a very nice taste to it. Smooth. Some of the beers I tried are too heavy. 2 beers and you're full. This one tastes like you could drink it for a while. I'm curious. What is it? It's Schaefer. Today's Schaefer beer. Schaefer? You gotta be kidding. I haven't had Schaefer in about 5 years, and I'm surprised. It's really good.
Today's Schaefer is better than ever. Try it. It'll make a Schaefer drinker out of you.
I tell you the truth, I start ordering it again.
Coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by the wine cellars of Ernest and Julio Gallo. Minolta, creator of the exciting new program system X700 camera. And by Radio Shack, the computer experts with over 6,500 locations nationwide.
One quarter has passed by. This will be the first play of the second quarter, with the Jets leading Tampa Bay 14-0. Bruce Harper and Scott Durking, the 2 Jet runners, 3rd down 6. Todd to throw. Almost intercepted. Intended for Derek Gaffney. Mark Cotney came over to make the knockdown. 3 yards rushing for Tampa Bay, 58 for the Jets. No yards passing for the Buccaneers, 54 for the Jets. And the time of possession and those statistics really tell you the story of the first quarter.
The most important one is 14-0 favor of the Jets.
The referee today, by the way, is number 12, Ben Drive.
Cowboy Ben out of Colorado.
Chuck Ramsey is the Jet punter. This is T. Bell, cut down immediately. Theo Bell, cut down to 15. 31-yard punt, 1-yard return. Johnny Wynn made the tackle. Ben Dright, the organizer and commander of things today. The Jets 14 and Tampa Bay nothing.
Meet John Hybrid III and his family. Not much personality, but gluttons for punishment. These scientifically advanced lifelike dummies are helping General Motors lead the industry in safety-related research by demonstrating how the human body withstands force.
And you think you've had some tough days.
We're living up to our commitment. Right now, today, we're the best GM ever.
When a business grows, it often grows out of control. Simple procedures become gigantic problems. Things like billing, filing, and shipping become too big to handle the old way. Why not get one of IBM's low-cost small computers like DataMaster? It puts you back in control, and it can grow.
Here's to a great future.
As your business grows.
The Buccaneers will have it first and 10 just inside their own 15-yard line. 14:47 left to go in the first half. The Jets leading 14-0. Wilder and Carter, the two setbacks for Tampa Bay. Wilder over the right side, the left side of the Jet defense. Greg Buttle was number 51. That's Gastineau back trying to help him up to his feet.
Mark Gastineau has all that emotion, you know, when he jumps up and down, when he gets a sack. We were talking to Walt Michaels about it yesterday. He said one thing he told him, don't do it over the player. If you sack a quarterback, walk away from him before you do it. Don't do it over the player you tackle.
One of the amazing things about that guy, Gastineau, is he's 6'6" and about 270, and he's faster in a 40-yard dash than Billy Sims. Pass is complete from Williams to Jimmy Giles. Shy of a first down, but right now, for an update, let's go back to our studio and Brent Musburger.
Pat and John, the Lions are doing everything today they didn't do Monday night. Remember those hands of stone against the Jets? Look at this. Freddie Scott takes it in, and now the Lions lead the Packers 17-0. Back to Pat and John at Shea Stadium.
Boy, that is a shocker.
Green Bay was one of the hot teams in this league.
Yeah. 14-0 here. Third down 3 for the Buccaneers. Lone setback is James Wilder. And Wilder is the man with the football and the first Tampa Bay first down of the afternoon.
You know, that's what you get for being big and strong like Doug Williams. You see him back here. One, he's big, he's tall, he can see. He can find Wilder underneath, and he's strong enough that he doesn't have to step towards a receiver. You see that? He stepped with his left foot to the left and threw to the right. That's great arm strength.
His improvement over the years has been dramatic. He's always been tough to sack because, as John Madden said, he's so big and strong. As soon as he took the handoff.
I'll tell you, on first down, the Jets are playing very tough defense against the run. Now watch it here. You see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are not controlling the line of scrimmage. And we see what happens here. They get penetration into the backfield, and Wilder doesn't have a chance to get into the line. I think somewhere they're going to have to start mixing up some passing on first down.
We're seeing that more and more. Williams looking over the defense at 2nd and 11. Williams throws a one-hopper intended for Gordon Jones. That'll make his third down and 11.
You could say he really didn't like that one. I know when I had Kenny Stabler, he used to always say when he'd throw that, he'd say, low ball thrower, high ball drinker. He really didn't get anything into it. It just, boom, it just caved on it.
John McKay. Very, very interesting, informative talk with him last night. Third down 11, Buccaneers trailing 14-0. Gerald Carter was the man in motion. Williams, throw. Almost intercepted. Knocked down by Bobby Jackson. Intended for Kevin House.
That's watch Kevin House on that. He's trying to run just a hook or a little in pattern. You see, good coverage there. He really couldn't get his feet planted to make a cut. He rounded the curve and then not let the corner jump inside on him.
Larry Swider will punt. Bruce Harper back deep for the Jets. Good snap. Ball bounces away from Harper. He comes back to try to pick it up and then decides better and gets away from it. A good roll after an average kick by Swider. Line of scrimmage will be the 25-yard line when the Jets go back on offense again. It turns out to be a 47-yard punt. No return. It's 14-0 New York.
Recently, a ceremony took place at the House of Commons to honor a few extraordinary wines. As wine experts from all over Europe looked on, more awards went to the wines of one winery than to any other. A winery from California. The California winery whose wines were honored more than any others.
Johannesburg Riesling.
The award-winning winery of Ernest and Julio Gallo. From Ernest and Julio Gallo, all the best.
The last thing I want is for my boy to get hurt. So I gave him an Norelco. It treats him with tender, loving care. Doesn't nip or cut like blades can, and shaves his face baby smooth. He loves his Norelco, because it cuts down whiskers like Mark Gastineau cut down quarterback.
Right, Mom. I swear by my Norelco.
I wish you wouldn't swear.
Norelco Rotatrack. Tough on your beard, not on your face.
Next Saturday on CBS Sports, postseason college football thrills as they vie for the Division I AA championship. The action continues next Saturday on CBS Sports.
Next Saturday, the NCAA day today starts it all. In the Division I AA championship, Eastern Kentucky against the Blue Hens of Delaware. This is the 4th straight appearance in the finals for Eastern Kentucky. That's next Saturday. Outside to Wesley Walker. Enough for another Jet first down before Hugh Green goes out to knock him out of bounds and make the stop. 14-yard pickup.
As we watched Richard Todd there, was talking to him in the locker room before the game, and he had those pantyhose on, and he said, "Hey, did Ken Stabler ever wear pantyhose?" And I said, "Not that he'd let anyone know."
Well, there we are. Thank you. We don't look as cold as I am. Raymond McNeil, the ball carrier. Cecil Johnson, the tackler.
One thing I think we can see on that last play, and on the last play of the Buccaneers, too, when Kevin House tried to make that cut, that it is really difficult to make a cut. I think the passing is going to have to be the straight line, running type passing, and then maybe the quick hitting runs.
That was Walt Michaels along with his offensive coordinator, Joe Walton, you were just looking at. Second down, 11. Line of scrimmage, the Jet 38 as Todd drops again. Good time knock, batted down. Leroy Selman got a big hand up and knocked it away. Minnesota 7, Baltimore 3 now. Second quarter, of course, they have a dome stadium in Viking country now. Miami nothing, New England nothing. Second quarter. Another cold weather site. That one up in New England. Another one. Pittsburgh nothing, Buffalo nothing. And Cincinnati has gone ahead of the Cleveland Browns 7-0 now. 3-yard run by Big Pete Johnson. 3rd and 11. Bruce Harper. Scott Durking, the two backs. Todd steps up into the pocket. Fires, has a man open, has a first down. Bobby Jones, who always seems to make something happen when he gets into the game, gets 17 yards and a Jet first down.
The thing that you said, Pat, is the fact that Todd stepped up. Because Leroy Selman was really coming to the outside, and he had to. There's Bobby Jones. We see he's running a running-type pattern. He just got in the zone and just stopped. Put his hands up, says, "Here, let me have it." Todd says, "Okay, you got it, Bobby."
That's the type of pattern that John Madden was just talking about. As the field is going to get harder and harder. Scott Durking. This is Augustinian over the right side for good yardage. About 5.
There's the type of guy you like to see play. You know, he went to Purdue. He was a walk-on. He didn't have a scholarship. Went in there. Augustiniak made the team. Wasn't drafted by anyone. Wave, cut, bring him back. And now last year he had a very serious injury, missed half the year. And now, you know, those determined guys, those guys that, look at that, his neck is bigger than his ears. You know, when your neck comes outside your ears, that's a big neck.
That's a sign you've been working at something. He leads the league in walk-ons. Straight ahead is Freeman McNeil this time, and now he's knocked backwards.
I think it's a fumble.
Maybe got a yard, and the fumble goes to Tampa Bay. It is a fumble. And the Bucs get it. Their second recovery of the day. Johnny Smith came up with it.
Let's see if we can see how that happened. The last time McNeil was caught in a spin, that time it looked like he was just hit as he went in there, and the ball popped out to the right.
He is hit by Dave Stalls. So the Jets turn it over again. Still lead 14-0.
From the furnaces at Ford, it's Mustang GT, the boss for 1983. Hot new styling. New 4-barrel carburetor, a 5-liter high-output engine. The boss, the 175 horsepower Mustang GT. One hot piece of American steel.
Some special Christmas gifts from Radio Shack.
Okay, we'll open just one.
Radio Shack has an incredible selection of electronic games no one can resist. Like Hungry Monster, Gobble or Be Gobbled in a fast-action maze. Or Hold Up, handheld electronic cops and robbers. Or Caveman, an exciting prehistoric adventure game.
We were just going to open one.
Irresistible electronic games, $7.95 to $69.95. Only at Radio Shack, your Christmas electronics store.
Let's watch who caused that fumble. It's number 65, Dave Stalls there on the white jersey on defense. Now watch him. See, they try and influence. Powell tries to influence. He doesn't go, steps in. Watch him. Hits McNeil, puts his helmet right on the ball, and the ball bounces out. Nice read by Stalls.
House is split out to the left. Tight end Jimmy Giles also on the left. Handoff is to Wilder. Just a couple. And Wilder is hurled back by Abdul Salam and a lot of his green-shirted friends.
And I think somewhere the Buccaneers will figure out that they can't gain anything on first down running. In fact, I think they've averaged less than there it is right there. You talk about it, boom, it just shows right up. Anyway, they've averaged 0.8 yards on first down, and I think they're going to have to start throwing on first down and stay out of second and long and third and long.
Right now, it's second and long, second and 7. 8:15 left in the first half. Williams, chased by Gastineau, has a man open. It's Giles. And big Jimmy Giles can motor after he catches. Johnny Lynn made the stop. 11-yard gain, a Buccaneer first down.
This is the thing when you have a quarterback, he doesn't have to be able to run with the ball, just move a little. Now watch Doug Williams on this. He comes back, he sees a rush, feels a rush, steps out about 3 or 4 steps to the right, finds his tight end Jimmy Giles, and boom, puts it in there for a first down.
Line of scrimmage is the Jets 44. First and 10. Now let's see if they put it up on first down. Handoff is to Owens. Owens over the right side for a couple, not much more. And they find themselves back in that second and long situation again. Marty Lyons on the stop.
The Jets have a defense that's very difficult to run on. It's a stacked defense. They have their strong linebacker and their weak side linebacker stacked inside. And it's very difficult on first down to run. Marty Lyons looks like he injured his helmet. He's trading. Says, well, let me have that one. Let me try it on. Yeah, hell, I can play with this one.
He's out, of course. Ben Rudolph takes his place. Second down and 8. Draw play. This is Wilder. Wilder gets down to about the 37-yard line, about 2 short of the first down. Rudolph on the stop. Here's what the Jets did last week. Interceptions 3, fumble recoveries 2. quarterback sacks 5. It was in that impressive outing against the Lions.
You know, in coaching talk, you say make things happen. Our defense made things happen.
3rd and 3 at the Jet 37. 3 wide receivers in the game. Gordon Jones, Carter. That's Carter in motion. And House. Outside, Wilder. He's got some room. Wilder inside the 20. Wilder inside the 15. Knocked out of bounds by Darrell Ray. 26-yard pickup.
Look at that, right in the snow. I like that. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you have the dirt and mud and grass hanging out of the thing. Now you have them sitting in the snow. That's football. That's the way it should be. Not these artificial turf dome stadiums. Watch this now. This is the type of pattern I think they have to run. The running type pattern. See, he gets his outside receivers downfield, gets James Wilder to the outside. Plenty of running room right up the field.
Bucs have a first down at the Jet 11-yard line. 1st and 10. Just under 6 minutes left to play first half. This is Owen. He doesn't make it back to the line of scrimmage. Gastineau to hit him first, and then Lions help.
See, he did walk away from it, too. He walks away from it towards his bench and towards the stands. Let's see if we can watch it. Walt said, I don't want you to do it by the ball carrier. Don't make anyone upset. Watch him. He comes in there, makes the tackle, and watch, he'll walk away first. Get away, get away. That's it.
If I were playing against him, that would bother me very much.
It would bother me, too, but he'd make a good coach.
2nd down and 13. House in motion. Williams drops. Looking for someone, throwing in the end zone. Intended for Jim Obradovich, the backup tight end, incomplete.
I think there was something wrong with that pattern. That on a pass pattern in the end zone, you try and spread your receivers out. The Buccaneers had 2 receivers running side by side, and of course what that does is that brings 3 defenders running side by side.
Owens comes out. T. Bell checks in. And Bell comes wide to the left with Gerald Carter. House is flanked out to the right. Williams away from Gastineau, throws down the middle for Kevin House. He can't hang on. Lance Mill was the closest Jet to him. Fine linebacker he is.
We see here again, it's 3rd down, and they had 13 yards. They had to get more than this. Even had House caught that ball, it would be 4th down, and they would have had to kick the field goal anyway. When you're that close, you really like to get all of your receivers in the end zone, and if you complete it, you have a touchdown. If not, you kick the field goal.
Capice with Swider holding. The wind right now doesn't appear to be too strong. You can see the flags on top of the goalpost. It's good from Capice from 32 yards out. And the Bucs get on the scoreboard. Make it 14-3 now. We have exactly 5 minutes left to play in the first half at Shea Stadium.
Your business machines say a lot about the way you do business. Quick, right? Canon's NP400F delivers 40 letter-sized copies in a minute. Consider it done. Responds with reduction, even enlargement. Keeps you organized with the document feeder and optional sorter. The Canon NP400F system copier. Technology that keeps you going. Call toll-free for information or contact your authorized Canon dealer.
Reuniti on ice. Reuniti.
Leonard, where's the reuniti?
Coming right up here. You know, Reuniti tastes so light. Reuniti on ice, Mr. Watley?
That's nice, Leonard. Oh, my. Reuniti is a light wine, isn't it?
To right moment.
Pure and natural Reuniti.
Always in good taste.
Next Saturday, they meet for the first time, and both in their hometown. The Los Angeles Rams against the Los Angeles Raiders. Stay with the winners next Saturday on CBS Sports.
Shea Stadium would appear to be about half full. on this frigid day. Capice will kick off. Bruce Harper and Kurt Son back deep for the New York Jets. The ball blows off the kicking tee, and Capice will re-tee.
Re-tee, huh? Is that kicker talk?
Yeah, that's...
What are you doing? Well, I'm teeing and then re-teeing.
Capice to Harper at the 8. Got some room. Harper still going. All the way out to the 43-yard line before Capice makes the tackle. 35-yard kickoff return by Harper.
You know, Bruce Harper adds a lot to this team. He's not only a kick returner, of course, he's a receiver, but he just takes the ball out. He just takes up the sideline, gets outside of that middle stuff, right up the sideline, a couple missed tackles, and he puts the Jets in great field position. I'm talking about he's a receiver coming out of the backfield on 2nd and 3rd downs.
I was a little worried about Capice's life after that.
Well, Bruce Harper's only 5'8", 177, but there were some more folks in there that are a lot bigger than that.
Augustiniak straight ahead for a couple. Next Saturday, we'll be in Los Angeles. The Rams against the Raiders. How do you feel about that game, John?
Well, you know, that's a start of a new rivalry, both the teams in Los Angeles, and I know the Rams are having a disappointing season. The Raiders are off to a good start, but when two teams play like that in a rivalry game, you never know what to expect.
2nd and 8. Bobby Jones was the man in motion. Todd gets it out to Augustiniak. And Big Mike pulls his way into Buccaneer territory before Andy Hawkins and Dave Logan make the stop.
What's this? When you have guys like Augustiniak, they only know one way to go once they get that ball. Now watch this. The receivers are deep, takes it back out of the backfield, little dump-off pass here to Augustiniak. Now watch, he gets that ball straight up the field to the goal line. You don't do any of that dancing or running side lanes.
Todd is 9 out of 12 for 92 yards. 3rd and 1. This is Dwayne Crutchfield. And you talk about some raw power. He's got it too, and he's got a Jet first down. Stopped by Hugh Green. Crutchfield is a young man who's 6 feet 235, a rookie from Iowa State. And the Jets think he's going to be perhaps a great one.
They think that eventually he'll be the starting fullback for him. Now he's used in all these short yardage situations with the 3 backs in that formation they call tough formation. That's good for the guys that are in there, but how about the guys that aren't in there?
Yeah.
What are they?
Back now are McNeil and Augustiniak, and back now is Richard Todd. Out of the backfield, Jerome Barkham, the tight end. Stays on his feet, gets 4 or 5 yards. Clock still running with 2:42 left to play in the first half. Johnny Ray Smith made the stop.
Who's doing a good job in there for the Jets as the center, Joe Field, on Dave Logan. Because they really are giving Todd in the middle. Watch the middle. See there? He has good pass protection, and he has time to find his receivers downfield.
Here's Hugh Green sliding off Barkham before Johnny Ray Smith comes up. It'll be 2nd and 4, 6-yard gain. You could tell by that replay, of course, that Barkham was not the selected receiver when they called that play. But Todd went to him. Here's Todd looking right now, looking back left. He has Augustiniak. He'll have another first down. Johnny Ray Smith made the other tackle. Made another tackle. Jeff Davis also had a swipe at him.
Augustiniak looks like a bull in a china closet, doesn't he?
He really does.
A ball of boom going right down the field.
That'll be the indication that we have that much time left in the first half, just under 2 minutes.
I like it.
I really like it.
We can help you get it. We're GMAC. We want it. GMAC financing.
If you want that new GM car or truck, GMAC offers the convenience of one-stop shopping with rates that make good sense. Right here at your GM dealer.
Now at participating GM dealers, get low 10.9 financing on new 82 models.
We got it.
We're throwing a beer party here in New York. The people don't know the name of the beer they're drinking.
Well, I tell you the truth, I think it's good tasting beer. Feels good, it feels light. It's not a heavy beer. Yeah, I enjoy drinking this beer, whatever it is. Yeah, I'd like to know what kind it is.
It's Schaefer. Today's Schaefer beer.
I'm surprised. Honestly and truthfully, I am. I didn't think this was a Schaefer beer. In terms of what my image of Schaefer was and what I actually experienced.
Today's Schaefer is better than ever. Try it. It'll make a Schaefer drinker out of you.
I really didn't think that I liked it, and I
Pat Summerall with John Madden, Shea Stadium, New York. Jets leading Tampa Bay 14-3. Jet first down at the Buccaneer 28. 1:58 left to play in the first half. Walker is out wide to the right. Gaffney now splits out. Todd intended for Gaffney. He looked at him all the way. Good coverage by the linebacker, Andy Hawkins.
Well, one thing I noticed about Richard Todd is he's wearing gloves, and I don't know that I can ever remember a quarterback wearing gloves or a glove on his passing hand before. But I guess they wear those golf-type gloves, and I guess they make them so light now that you don't even know you have a glove on. You always see the linemen wearing them, and the receivers, but I don't remember seeing a quarterback wear them.
Got it on his passing hand, but not on the other hand. Yes, he does. Sorry. Freeman McNeil.
Tackled by Andy Hawkins.
Don't forget, coming up at the half, as usual, Brent and Irv will update all the scores around the league, and Dick Vermeil, the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, will be live in the studio.
I bet he won't be happy. When you lose and have the year that the Eagles have, you're not happy to be anywhere.
Third down, 9. Line of scrimmage, the Buck 27. The draw play is to Durkin. Durkin skates and slides down to about the 23-yard line. Not a first down, and Leahy will come on. Johnny Ray Smith and Logan made the stop. Just under a minute left to play in the first half.
I'm surprised Tampa Bay doesn't take a timeout, because the Giants are either going to make the field goal or miss it here, and either way, the Buccaneers are going to get the ball.
You mean the Jets, of course.
The Jets, what did I say?
The Giants.
The Jets, the New York Jets, are either going to make it or miss it, but the Buccaneers will get the ball.
40 yards out. Leahy has been in a slump. He's still in a slump. And the crowd lets him know about it. Still 14-3. We'll return to Shea Stadium after this message from the National Football League.
Hi, I'm Marty Lyons of the New York Jets, but I'm in a different uniform today to help bring Christmas to a lot of kids in United Way agencies all across the tri-state area. Come on with me. Out there, all across the tri-state area, there are children and a lot of people who need Christmas and everything that it means. I've been Santa Claus for 3 years now, and I've seen my teammates get involved, and that's something we can all do. You can hide behind a mustache and a beard, but to see the young people, the twinkle in their eyes, and they just light up when Santa Claus comes. And that's what United Way gives all of us, a chance to care about every child. You know, the United Way provides a Christmas spirit year-round through their many agencies and to the many people they help. That's why I want to say, thanks to you, it works for all of us, the United Way.
The preceding message was furnished by the National Football League. 14-3, the situation. The Bucs had the ball at their own 23 with 30 seconds left to play in the first half. Williams to Owens. Owens covering up that football very carefully.
I was surprised that the Bucs didn't take timeout when the Jets had the ball down there, and it looks like now they're going to take a timeout now, but then they get the ball and they just run and they waste time on that play. I'm not exactly sure what they're doing.
That's Bill Nelson, who is the quarterback coach. On the left side of the picture, used to be, of course, the quarterback for the Cleveland Browns and for John McKay when he was at USC.
USC, right. But I thought when they didn't take the timeout, then they ran a play on first down. I thought they were just going to let the clock run out and go in 14-3 at halftime. Then they ran the ball and took a timeout, so now I'm not really sure exactly what they're doing. Or unexactly what they're doing.
It's hard to tell what they're doing.
You know, Tampa Bay has had 8 first downs this game, and they've run the ball, each one of them. They've never passed yet on first down.
That will probably change in the second half. Here's Williams. Looking long and looking deep. Giles, and it's incomplete. That'll stop the clock with 10 seconds left to play in the first half. Williams is 5 out of 12 for 49 yards as McKay looks on behind the mask. John was in rare form last night with his one-liners, wasn't he?
He is a funny guy.
He really is.
He's a great guy. He's a fine coach.
3rd and 7. Penalty markers down. Williams swings out of the pocket. And he'll just head for the sideline and get out of bounds. Picked up on the other side of the field.
Knocked out of bounds by Lynn. Flag on the play.
In the event you joined us late, there was some question in our minds and in the ground crew's mind, I think, whether we'd start this game on time because they had a devil of a time getting the tarp off the field. In fact, they had to cut it up in strips before they could move it. Against the Jets.
The pregame warm-up was funny because half of the field had the tarp on and the other half didn't, and they had both teams out there warming up together.
Almost side by side. There was also some talk before the game that the Jets would not even come out. We're going to...
Face offside, 77. Decline a penalty. That's a first down.
2 seconds left to play. Kenny Neal was the Jet who was offside. Now what do you do? Just run it out?
I would just not. I'd try and make something happen. I'd get that thing, put 3 receivers on one side, throw the ball as deep as I could, and hope for a completion or a pass interference penalty.
They run the draw play. This is James Wilder. He loses the ball. Gastineau comes up with it. And now the Jets pick it up. Something happened, but not what was planned. Marty Lyons wound up with the football, and that's the end of the first half.
They should have tried that cow play and picked it up and just start lateral because they know there's only 2 seconds. Now watch this. We see a draw play. Williams comes back. Hands off here to Wilder. He starts in. He shouldn't fight for yardage. You're not going to make a touchdown here. He looked like he just turned and the ball comes out. Gastineau, he shouldn't pick it up because the half's over. Now Lyons should take it. When he starts to go down, just lateral it to someone. That old rugby type deal.
That is the end of the first half at cold Shea Stadium. And at the end of one half, it's the New York Jets on 2 quick touchdowns by Freeman McNeil, 14-3 over Tampa Bay.
This is an arcade game. This is the new Atari Super System. Arcade, Atari Super System. You may like the Super System better. It has some of the best arcade and sports games and plays every Atari cartridge. It even does something no arcade game can.
Telephone! It's Judy!
It lets you freeze the action.
Hello, Judy?
The new 5200 Super System.
Come on, you guys, hands up. Defense!
It's your broker from Dean Witter.
I want to see you hustle.
Some people just aren't easy to please, especially when it comes to their investments.
Josie, we do it.
At Dean Witter, we can give even the hard-to-please investor something to smile about.
Okay, let's see that defense.
When I smoke cigars at home, my friends never object because I've got a Polonex Pure Air 99.
Smoke Grabber 6-stage filter with activated charcoal. It removes smoke, pollen, and dust. Everything but your relatives. Smoke goes in here, clean air comes out here. And its extra-large filter takes out 99% of ragweed pollen. These are my friends. They're crazy about my Pure Air 99 from Pollinix. Right, girls?
Coming up on CBS Sports, the bowl games. Christmas Day, the Sun Bowl. The Texas Longhorns take their fearless defense head-to-head against senior running back Kelvin Bryant and the North Carolina Tar Heels. New Year's Eve, the Peach Bowl, with Johnny Majors leading his go-get-em Tennessee offense against the strong defensive challenge of Iowa. New Year's Day, the Cotton Bowl. The penetrating arm of Dan Marino and his Pittsburgh Panthers against the Pony Express rushing attack of undefeated SMU. The bowl games here on CBS Sports.
Welcome back to the news desk in New York. I'm Brent Musburger, along with Irv Cross and head coach Dick Vermeil of the Philadelphia Eagles. Dick, I'd ask you how you are, but I think I know better this afternoon.
Please don't ask me.
We are, before the day is over, obviously going to talk a lot about the Eagles, but since we're watching the Jets and the Buccaneers coming out of the warmth of Florida, Dick, how does that affect a warm-weather team to come into a cold stadium like the Shea?
Well, I think if you're a better football team, you can come on into that cold weather area and win the football game. But if you're just as good as the team, or if the other team has a slight edge, chances are then the cold weather team's going to beat you.
All right, Dick and Irv, let's get everybody up to date with all the scores. And, of course, we've got highlights out of the Midwest in Green Bay right now. This is a shocker. Detroit 17, the Packers nothing. Monty Clark's team did not play well on Monday night, but it's been a different story here. Watch William Gay with this interception on Lynn Dickey down at the 18-yard line. And then Billy Sims, remember the handoff bobble in the third period? Well, here today, they fumbled this one, and the Packers got it back again. And so the Packers felt they could walk all over them. But then there was that interception by Bobby Watkins, who had replaced the fired Wayne Smith, and this time Billy Sims hangs on, gets in for the score. And finally, it was Danielson pulling out, looking for Freddie Scott down the right side. He slips on in for the second touchdown. But then Freddie Scott, full extension here, was extremely vulnerable. Dick, what happens in a sequence like this? Is everybody fully extended? How vulnerable is a receiver?
Well, they're left wide open there, especially when you leave your feet, you're up in the air, and you're total concentration on the ball. And the defensive back does the same thing. Total concentration on the ball. He sometimes doesn't even see the receiver, and there is a heck of a collision like there was then.
All right, he was helped off the field. We do not know how serious the injury is. We'll keep you up to date throughout the second half of the Jet-Buccaneer game. Now, elsewhere around the league, we used to tell you all about that snow out in Bloomington, right? They play under a roof in Minneapolis right now, and the Vikes lead in their shirt sleeves, 7-3 over the Baltimore Colts. 14-0 right now, and scratch that. Cleveland has just kicked a field goal. It is 14-3. The Browns are on the board. The Bengals, though, Pete Johnson for one touchdown, Kenny Anderson for a second. Then it was Washington and St. Louis, and it was Mark Mosley, 6-0 over the Cardinals. And, Irv, how has that game been going? You've been following that progress.
But Stup Mitchell, who made his name known last week against the Philadelphia Eagles, had a pretty good first half today. As a matter of fact, on a punt early in the game, in the first quarter, he took the ball and ran for what appeared to be a touchdown run, but was called back because of a penalty, an 80-yard punt return.
Did Mark Mosley miss a field goal in that game, Irv?
You know, he didn't miss a field goal. He came in with 14 straight. He kicked 2 more today for 16 straight. The league record is 20 straight consecutive field goals, so he's pressing that thing.
All right. They have miserable weather conditions up in Foxborough, and right now at the half, Miami and New England are scorers. Let me tell you a secret about that game. They started snowing up there, and I think they took the tarp off at midnight and said, come on, Shula, come on in here and play us. Pittsburgh and Buffalo. And for Terry Bradshaw, it's a tough afternoon. The Bills are shutting the Steelers out right now by 10 points. And meanwhile, of course, the game you're enjoying here on CBS, the Jets are winning it 14-3. Well, coming up, we want to tell you about the Seattle Seahawks and their new coach, Mike McCormick. We will do that as the NFL Today continues on CBS right after these messages from your local stations.
Sunday on CBS.
Oh, there's this
nearly naked woman.
Archie learns the bare facts about marriage. And will Gloria survive a hilarious night in a spooky basement?
I saw a skeleton in your cellar.
Then on the Jeffersons, is George having a hot affair?
I am every woman's fantasy.
And on One Day at a Time, it's back-to-school pressure for Barbara.
Here's something I could break. Go ahead, but be selective.
Then can Cracker John save a fellow doctor bent on self-destruction?
Get through as a surgeon.
Sunday. This is CBS.
Hello, I'm George Plimpton. Here's an easy question for you.
Okay, Mr. Plimpton.
Which of these home video games looks more like a real arcade game? In television lock and chase from Mattel Electronics?
Gee, if people had this game at home, my arcade could be in big trouble.
Or Atari Pac-Man?
Blinky, you look pale.
If you picked in television,
you're absolutely correct.
Taxi cab!
Sorry, pal. Bam! Still banging into people, huh?
Hey, Big Jim, you going in?
Yeah, I got the A-horse in the third.
That's my horse. I played in the show.
Show? I got him to win.
Play show, Jim. You win, even if he comes in third.
Hey, Sam, I'll pass on third.
You pass? I'd pay to see that.
No matter how they play, OTV players are the winningest people in town.
Here's network football. They shoot it using Canon broadcast optics. Here's my son's football game, but it looks broadcast quality. I use new Canon AccuVision portable video. AccuVision has Canon's power zoom lens, automatic focus, and broadcast technology for pictures that look broadcast.
Johnny Vigorino!
Hey, how'd your game make prime time?
New Canon AccuVision, the clear advance in portable video.
Warner Wolf's Plays of the Year, Friday.
Welcome back to the news desk in New York. And you know, when the Seattle Seahawks returned to work after the players' strike, they were welcomed back by a new boss. Jack Patera, of course, the only coach Seattle had its first 6 years in the league, was fired during the strike. And replacing him was the former Baltimore coach, Mike McCormick. But the period of adjustment has been a happy one, for as Irv now tells us, McCormick has pumped new life into the Seahawks.
The Seahawks won their first 2 games under McCormick and almost made it 3 in a row last week. After spotting the Los Angeles Raiders 28 points, they charged back with a rally that fell just 5 points short.
Hey, good job, defense! Good job, defense!
McCormick didn't expect to be coaching anywhere this season, but now that he's back on the sidelines, he's having himself a ball.
I tell you what, he's like a kid with a new toy. Last 3 weeks have been just great fun. I think that he has done, he's just developed a player-coach relationship that is second to none. The pressure's been lifted somewhat because now we're just going out to play and have fun instead of going out with a threat over your head. If you don't perform well on Sunday, don't worry about it. You won't be here on Tuesday. It's not that type of atmosphere anymore.
When the season began last September, the Seahawks appeared to be going nowhere. They not only lost their first 2 games, but there were reports that many of the players were angry at the Seattle management, especially after player representative Sam McCullum was cut from the squad. And midway through the strike, head coach Jack Patera was fired.
I can't give you a reason why we didn't do it previously, but we felt that now, in this pause period during the work stoppage, was probably the best time we could do it, but there isn't a good time.
McCormick had been fired by Baltimore last year after a dismal 2-14 season and opened dissension on that team. After the Colts let him go, he was hired by Seattle for a front office job. McCormick then replaced Patera, although he only wanted to be an interim coach.
I'm the same guy here that I was in Baltimore. That's it. I'm not doing anything differently. Having more fun. Last year, the last couple of years, in fact, in Baltimore has been rather undistinguishing. We had a lot of turmoil and chaos there. And to come to a place where we have solid, supportive owners gives Mike an opportunity to do the things that he does best. All we did was just put the round pegs back in the round holes, and it gelled.
After a victory over Denver in their first game under McCormick, the Seahawks really socked it to Pittsburgh, shutting out the Steelers 16-0. One popular change made by the new coach was to bring back Jim Zorn as the starting quarterback.
Mike gave me an opportunity to come back and be the starting quarterback and be able to play and not have to look around to see if I'm going to get taken out.
I think we're on the right track right now, and we've always had the talent here. And I feel once we get into the playoffs, it's going to be so exciting for us. I just think we'll be unstoppable.
All right!
We kidded Mike about it. He said, hey, no way you're leaving us. You know, you can say that I just want to come up here and be in the front office and stuff. Guys said, that's a bunch of there's no way. We're not going to play unless you come back. And we really feel that way.
If McCormick had failed, what's the rap against him as a coach?
Well, you know, Brent, I think he's more effective with a mature team than he is with a young team because he likes to have the players have their own heads. He says, treat them as men. The older that club gets in Seattle, the better McCormick's going to be.
You know, I've heard two things. He's been calling other coaches around the league, saying how much fun he's having. But I've also heard that he wants to get back to the front office and off the field. Have you heard anything about McCormick and the Seahawks next year?
Well, no, I really haven't, but I can't expand on that anymore, except that I know that he's very happy in the front office, but I know he would like to coach again.
All right, let's send you back now to the game you're enjoying here on CBS.
The Jets lead at the half, 14-3 at frigid Shea Stadium. The wind chill factor was -5 degrees when the game started. Looks like a lot of folks here are dressed for the weather. I'm not sure that John Madden and I are. What do you think, John, about the second half?
Well, of course, you know, as I said, I think Tampa Bay has to start throwing some on first down. They've been running every play on first down. They haven't been having any success with it. They're playing into the Jets' hands, and then the Jets, you know, come with their pass defense on second and third down. We just had a snowball play in there. And I think that's what we're going to see in the second half.
It's going to get colder. The field conditions are going to be more treacherous than they have been already. Any particular kind of plays you think might be more successful than others?
Well, you know, the thing that you can't do on this turf is cut. And I don't think those precision pass patterns where you run down the field and then cut in and cut out are going to work. It has to be the running type of patterns, and I think that we'll see more of those in the second half.
You think that Tampa Bay will, as you say, throw more on first down? There seemed to be some confusion right at the end of the first half about whether they should have taken a timeout or not, what they were trying to accomplish.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. You know, when the Jets had the ball and they were going to kick the field goal, that would have been an opportune time to, to kick a field goal, but to take a timeout, but they didn't do it. And we're
going to have to make a quick change here. You get on this side for a while.
And they didn't take the timeout, and then they got the ball, and they didn't take the timeout. They ran the ball, and then they finally did, so I wasn't sure what they were trying to do.
Well, it should be an interesting second half, at least, as we're going to continue to be dodging. Some of the people here are getting a little restless.
My radio. See what you find when you clean out your closet? I lost this about 2 years ago. Hey, still energized.
Comparing all leading battery brands after 2 years, nothing outlasts the Energizer from Eveready. Nothing outsnaps it. Nothing outadds, outwalks, outtapes, outshines, outlasts it. Nothing.
About 2 years and still energized.
Long life.
Energize me.
Canon's AE1 program is impressing a lot of people. For the pro photographer,
it's even more advanced.
And for pro quarterback Joe Theismann,
it's even simpler to use.
No matter how tough the shot, the program mode automatically sets the camera for the best possible photo.
This Canon is super.
The Canon AE1 program. So advanced, it's simple.
Your cargo box. And the new sports-minded GMC S15 Jimmy. All available with Instatrack 4-wheel drive and V6 power.
A new 82 GMC Light Duties, 10.9 annual percentage rate financing to qualified buyers. Take retail delivery now through December 31st.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Chevrolet. Chevrolet is USA 1, and USA 1 is taking charge. And by Natural Light, the beer with a taste for food.
talk and stay alive at the same time. We're being bombed with snowballs, ice chunks. This is a great way to work. All of our what notes we had are gone now, covered with snow. So you can see what's going on. It's hard to watch the monitor.
It's hard to get close to the monitor. They have a new game here at Shea Stadium. Hit the announcer.
I wish they'd start worrying about what's happening on the field or kick it off as soon as possible to get their attention. It's great to be back in New York, huh? Nowhere else. Here's the halftime stats.
You know, in those first down plays, we see that Tampa Bay had 9 first downs, and they ran the ball each time, and they haven't had any success. You see their average is a half a yard per carry. Of course, the Jets have had, you know, they're 4.2, and they've thrown 7 times, and they've run 8 times. So they have a good mixture there. Tampa Bay has run each time.
Teams obviously back on the field and just about ready to start the second half. Jets leading 14-3. And I just got another one, John.
So did I.
I wish I could say it's fun.
I wonder if they give each other points if they hit us. You know, like a Pac-Man game, a video game or
something. Maybe so. Maybe so. There's another one in the booth. Carter. Michael Morton back deep for the Buccaneers. Now they're throwing cups and whatever else.
I wonder if that's all because I called the Jets the Giants once.
Could be.
I didn't mean to. I didn't mean it.
And it kicked off. Leahy is kicked off. It'll be Morton slipping down and staying in the end zone. Thank goodness they've started playing. I mean, the guys on the field that are supposed to be playing. Doug Williams in the first half, 5 out of 12, 49 yards. The net pickup, Richard Todd, 11 out of 15. Buccaneers have the ball, 1st and 10 at their own 20. The Jets leading 14-3. Giles who goes in motion. This is Owen. Off to the right side, nothing doing. This is Melvin Carter, I'm sorry. Owen's not starting the second half. Melvin Carver, beg your pardon.
Melvin Carver's a rookie. He was a free agent. John McKay was saying the other night that they spend $10 million in the National Football League in scouting, and then you get a Melvin Carver who isn't even drafted.
2nd and 5 for the Buccaneers. Williams has time this time. Pass is almost picked off. Hit it for Kevin House, almost picked off by Greg Buttle.
There's John Woodring. He's number 57 there, and of course he's starting for Stan Blanca, who was suspended for 1 game.
Interesting, I thought John were Blanca's comments about the suspension. He said he agreed with Commissioner Pete Rozelle that a play like the one he did, or whatever he did to John Jefferson, should not be in football. And he agreed with the commissioner's decision. 3rd down 5. Williams outside. Wilder can't find a handle. Never really had it.
This will be interesting to see. No, yeah, the officials ruled that he did have it.
He never had possession.
Yeah, but they gave it to the Jets. They ruled that he did have possession and fumbled the ball.
Bobby Jackson made the recovery.
See if we can see if he does have possession. We see Wilder out there at the top of the screen. Catches a ball. It's on his hip. No, I don't think he ever had possession of the ball. He was just bringing the ball off his left hip. Let's watch it again. Number 32, Wilder, he'll swing out to the right. Williams hits him. So he doesn't have possession. He gets hit. The ball pops out, and they give it to the Jets.
Jackson made the recovery and the hit. And they give it, as you say, to the Jets. They lead 14-3 and a chance to get more.
We are USA 1, and number 1 is taking charge in high-technology transportation. With some of the highest mileage numbers in cars like the diesel Chevette. Taking charge in four-wheel drive with new S10 Blazers and pickups. And the versatile Chevy Citation, Chevrolet, America's sales leader, is taking it to the limit. And now on new 82 models only, get 10.9% financing that can save you hundreds of dollars on financing costs.
When the recipes call for hearty portions and holiday cheer, what's more natural than Natural Light from Anheuser-Busch? The beer with a taste for food that just naturally leaves you room for more. When it's the season for second helping.
What's more natural than Natural Light?
Shea Stadium. Jets have the football at the Buccaneer 23-yard line. After the fumble recovery. McNeil and Augustiniak. Freeman McNeil gets the call on the carry. Stopped by Leroy Selman. We're talking about Stan Blinka. You know about his suspension, I'm sure. Here's the play where he hits John Jefferson of Green Bay. Commissioner Rozelle to suspend him, and that's why he's not playing in this game. And as I said before, he has said that he agrees with that suspension, that there is no place. Hugh Green came from the outside. Richard Cott never saw him coming, and that's the first sack by Tampa Bay.
You know, Hugh Green really doesn't blitz a lot. In the three-man line, he plays a lot of pass coverage. He'll cover the tight end man-to-man. I tell you, it doesn't look like the Jets have expected Green to blitz, and he came on that play, and there was no one to pick him up, and he just chased Todd right back to that drop-back point. In fact, I think he beat him there.
The whole thing came as a surprise. 3rd and 19 for the Jets. That sack might have taken him out of field goal range. Todd steps up, throw. Has Derek Gaffney. Not a first down, but it gets him back in field goal range.
Well, you know, we've been talking about Pat Leahy and the trouble that he's had. They are going to try a field goal here. Let's watch Derek Gaffney. He's starting today for Lamb Jones. And again, it's very difficult to make cuts. You see, so all they're doing is running up and just trying to come under control and stop. Of course, he didn't get the first down, and now they'll go for the field goal.
Derek Gaffney, who comes from a school in Jacksonville that's produced a lot of great athletes, and his family, in fact. He has 2 brothers, 3 brothers. They were fine athletes. Here's Leahy. This one's good. From 34 yards out, Leahy hits. And the Jets move further in front. The score now 17-3. The New York Jets over Tampa Bay.
Light up your eyes, unwrap your smiles. Let your arms undo the miles. Bring your heart back home and find that special face. Decorate your time with laughter. Let the hours live ever after.
In the past 40 years, Chevrolet has brought more people home for the holidays than anyone. Have a happy New Year, America.
Boxing, soccer, basketball, baseball, football, watch them all. With Rose in hand, you'll have a ball. 'Cause there's no taste like the Rose. Rose, no taste like the Rose. There's no taste like it. Everybody knows there's no taste like the Rose. Wild Irish Rose wine.
Brent Leahy's 34-yard field goal puts the Jets up 17-3 now. We have 12:08 left to play in the third quarter. Leahy will kick off. Morton and Carver back deep for Tampa Bay. This will be Melvin Carver. Drops it, picks it up. Carver bangs out to the 25. Hit down by Kirk Springs. Next Saturday, we remind you once more that we will be at the Coliseum in Los Angeles for the match between the Rams and the Raiders, 3:30 Eastern Time. And Sunday, the Giants will be at Washington, Minnesota at Detroit, St. Louis at Chicago, Green Bay at Baltimore, and New Orleans at Dallas.
At New Orleans is something this year. You know, Kenny Stabler, my old quarterback's having a heck of a year again, and and they're playing great defense too.
It'll be a lot more interesting than it looked like it might have been earlier. Here's Wilder, still on his feet. And Wilder gets the Buccaneer first down. Bobby Jackson made the stop.
Well, that's what I think they have to do if they're going to move the ball against this Jet defense. And it's the first time they've done it all day, is throw a pass on first down. It's a lot easier than that first down defense the Jets are playing. It's a lot easier to throw on that defense than it is to run. I think they've proven that.
They have another first down right here at their own 38. Doug Williams has one lone setback behind him. Looks to the outside. Theo Bell will have another one. So they've gotten the message about throwing on first down.
I'll tell you, it just makes sense because the Jets on first down are playing run real tough. They're all up in there. They have the strong safety up, the linebackers stacked, and that's a good time to pass. And then conversely, on passing downs, they're playing loose, 5 defensive backs and that type of thing.
Bucs go with the one lone setback and 2 tight ends, Obradovich and Giles. Gordon Jones out wide to the left. Handoff is Wilder. Wilder gets about 3 or 4 right up the middle. Abdul Salam makes the stop. Detroit has moved substantially in front of Green Bay now, 23-0 at the half. Boy, that's a surprise. Abdul Salam, number 74. That name means soldier of peace. Theo Bell back in the game as the Bucs shuffle, shuttle their wide receivers and go with a 2 tight end offense. Down the middle of Giles, deep in Jet territory. Down to the 22, Greg Buttle knocked him down. 24-yard gain, Williams to Giles.
I'll tell you, that was a perfect pass against that defense. The Jets were rotating their corners up and their safeties out. Look, a little play fake. That holds the linebacker. Giles right down the middle. You see him there? The play fake held the linebackers. The safeties had rotated to the outside to double cover the outside receivers, and Giles was right up the middle of the field.
This is just at the end of the play, away from the play. Theo Bell. Del Ray. Woodring takes down Wilder. James Wilder is having a good year. 6'3", 225, second-year man from Missouri. Second down, about 11. 8:15 left in the third quarter, and the Bucs on the move. They stay with that 2 tight end offense. Williams drops. Throws. Giles. First down about the 12. Close to a first down. He may not quite have gotten it. Johnny Lynn made the stop.
Let's watch Theo Bell again, away from the play. We saw him in the last play. He got a chuck right to the head on that one. The official missed that one, but we did see the double coverage there. And then he's still going.
That's Jerry Holmes that Bell is having his little joust with. First down at the 13. inside the 10 to about the 9. Marty Lyons around the bottom of his feet. Woodring up top.
I think this is a good situation to throw from when they're on the 9-yard line, the 10-yard line. They have 20 yards to work, the 10 and then the 10 yards of the end zone. You get much closer, and it's very difficult to work your passing game.
Of course, Tampa Bay has that extra element in that Williams is a good athlete and an excellent runner. He can make some things happen if nobody's open. Incomplete. And no penalty marker. Now there is a penalty marker. Kevin House was the intended receiver. Jackson is really upset about the call. I thought it was interference.
The one thing that could have caused the penalty is the fact that Williams didn't throw it on timing. He started to throw, held it a little, and then threw it a little later. Let's see if we can watch here. We see Kevin House, Bobby Jackson, number 40's playing a man-to-man. The ball's in the air. Oh, that's awfully close.
If the ball had been out front of him, it would not have been interference.
May have been a touchdown.
May have been a touchdown. Because it was behind him, that's the only reason the interference was called. Carver and Wilder are the two runners. Touchdown Wilder. Touchdown Tampa Bay. James Wilder makes it 17-9. Crowd booing because of the pass interference call against Jackson.
Let's watch this goal line stuff. We see a little motion to get the defense to move. Wilder just hits in there off left tackle, has his shoulders square, keeps those legs moving. Once you can see that motion, gets the defense to move a little. Wilder just takes the outside of his shoulder pad, and then that's enough to get in the end zone.
There's Wilder. Just put the 6 points up, and now Capice will try to add the extra point. And he does. So with 7:13 left in the third quarter, it's a pretty good football game. 17-10. The Jets over Tampa Bay. 75 yards they went.
What's more natural than natural light?
When football fans and food team up for tailgating time, what's more natural than Natural Light from Anheuser-Busch? The beer with a taste for food that just naturally leaves you room for more. So when you're going for that extra yard,
What's more natural than Natural Light?
Some special Christmas gifts from Radio Shack.
I knew my son would like a radio control toy for Christmas, and Radio Shack has a great assortment to choose from. With an easy-to-operate transmitter, he can control all the action, whether it's at the races, on maneuvers, on the road, or off.
Dad, is it my turn yet?
11 different radio-controlled action toys, $11.95 to $69.95. Only at Radio Shack, your Christmas electronics store.
Next Saturday on CBS Sports, postseason college football thrills as they vie for the Division I AA championship. The action continues next Saturday on CBS Sports.
Capice will kick off. Bruce Harper and Kurt Son back deep for the Jets. Capice. Short kick. At the 15 is Harper. He's had 2 good returns already. This time the coverage is excellent. Melvin Carver down to make the tackle. So the Jets take over at their own 27-yard line. 1st and 10. 7:06 left to play, third quarter. Cold, cold day in New York. There's the scoring drive, and a good one, as the Bucs started to throw on 1st down and throw successfully. Wilder got the touchdown. Right now it's 1st down. Jets. Todd will throw. Has Jerome Barkham, the tight end, and Barkham gets the 1st down for the Jets. About the 38-yard line, Scott Brantley made the stop. Cleveland creeping back against Cincinnati. Detroit still 23-0 over Green Bay. That's been that way for a long time. Minnesota 7-3 in the third quarter over Baltimore. That's the Jets' first down in the second half. Todd, sack. Scott Brantley, the linebacker.
Scott Brantley is one of the inside linebackers, and he comes right up inside. We'll see him, number 52. See, the guard starts to step down to help on the nose tackle. Brantley goes over a blocker and gets Todd right there at the angles. Let's see if we can watch it again. Now watch Brantley. McNeil tries to block him. In fact, does block him, knocks him down. Brantley just keeps working and just grabs Todd right around the ankles. Number 52.
Second down. And 19 back from the 30. This is Augustiniak. As the Jets take no chances. Scott Brantley had an injury to his head when he was in college. Didn't finish playing out his college eligibility. But did not give up on the idea of playing football. Augustiniak, the ball carrier.
And one thing about these Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they can come back in the second half. Remember, we did the game last year against the Raiders. They didn't have a first down in the whole first half. Then they came back and darn near won the game in the second half. They scored like 2 or 3 scores.
Here's Todd under pressure again. Throws high over the head of Wesley Walker. A hard rush. The Jets have an injured player. Looks like they left that offensive tackle.
Let's watch Leroy Selman there, number 63, in the left-hand side. Started to the outside, then went right inside, and got there right as Todd threw the ball. That may have made Todd throw the ball a little high.
I believe it's Chris Ward who's down.
Of course, Chris Ward is the guy that's blocking against Leroy Selman. It looks like he got caught up going to the outside. You know, it's slippery for those wide receivers and running backs, but it's also slick and slippery in there for those linemen.
And hard to pass block. It's just a matter of whoever gets the best traction. Ramsey back to punt for the Jets. He's only had to do his job once today. Back deep for the Bucs. John Hope and Theo Bell. Ramsey hits this one pretty good. Hope is hit pretty well himself. Down very quickly was Johnny Lynn, who made the hit on Hope, and he did well to hold on to the football. 35 yards and no return at all.
We are USA 1, taking charge with the new Cavaliers, with a new high-compression electronic fuel-injected 2-liter engine, available 5-speed transmission, and a new lower price. It's powered by Chevrolet's determination to put Cavalier on top and price to keep it there. A full line of new Cavaliers from America's sales leader. And now on new 82 models only, get 10.9% financing that can save you hundreds of dollars on financing costs.
This Buds for everyone who's ready for the action when the whistle blows.
Yeah, just for you, that distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser. This Bud's for you.
Summerall with John Madden at Shea Stadium, where the score is the New York Jets 17 and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who have the ball now, 10. Giles goes in motion. Williams out to Wilder. Wilder burns it up to about almost to the 40-yard line, close to first down yardage. Jerry Holmes was the first Jet tackler to hit him.
We were talking about Augustiniak taking that ball up the field. I'll tell you, James Wilder does the same thing. He's 235 pounds, and he's caught about 4 or 5 of those passes, just loops out of the backfield and turn that thing straight up.
Weather is affecting some of the other games around the NFL, obviously. Miami nothing, New England nothing. Up in New England. 2 tight ends. Fumble! That was second down. If they get it back, he's got the first down. Melvin Carver. First down.
I'll tell you, Melvin Carver did a nice job of recovering that ball because they had trouble on the handoff. It looked like the quarterback should try and hand the ball off about the belt level. You try and stick it right in the stomach. That handoff looked a little low. It looked like it hit Carver in the 5.
Williams now has his 2 tight ends, and again on his first down he'll throw. And he throws it away, I think on purpose. Marty Lyons put the pressure on Williams.
You know that play with Carter. Now watch Wilder at 32. He's coming out of the backfield. Williams is looking at him. See, the Jets covered it tight for the first time, so he had to throw to the inside. They tried to get that same play out there to James Wilder that they'd been so successful with today.
So it'll be 2nd and 10. Line of scrimmage is the Tampa Bay 42. Gordon Jones and Kevin House, the wide receiver. That's Jones. They say incomplete. They're calling it incomplete.
I think there's a penalty on the play, too, Pat.
I think you're right. Flag on the other side of the field. Gets Tampa Bay.
I'm sure the Jets will turn it down. It was a legal motion.
88, decline the penalty, 3rd down.
Violation against Giles. The Jets turn it down. So it'll be 3rd down and 10 as Rudolph comes in to replace Lyons. Replaces Abdul Salam, I beg your pardon. Carter. Giles. This is Carter, and he'll have the first down, and a penalty marker goes down. Johnny Lynn made the stop.
The question again, we see that delay type of thing coming underneath. There was enough for a first down, but it looks like the penalty is against the Buccaneers for pushing off offensively.
15-yard gain will be wiped out.
You don't see that. Usually when you see a penalty flag in that area, it's usually against the defense. But, of course, the offense can also foul. If the ball's not in the air, the offense can't push the defensive guy either.
I think the violation is a result of that little fracas we saw earlier against Theo Bell.
Well, Theo Bell was number 83. It looked, just in reading lips, it looked like he said 87.
It did.
That, of course, is Gerald Carter,
who made the reception. So it'll be 3rd and 20 now. They're backed up to their own 30-yard line, or 31 or thereabouts. And Williams drops back to throw. Has a screen pass call, has Wilder. Wilder has a blocker or two, but not enough. Lance Mel made the stop.
I'll tell you, Lance Mel did a nice job because the Buccaneers had 3 blockers out in front, and Mel just sneaked in there between all 3 of them and made the tackle.
Detroit 30-0 now over Green Bay in the 3rd quarter. That's in Green Bay. 96-yard kickoff return by Alvin Hall. Swider back to kick. Harper comes motoring up, makes the handle. He's got some blockers. But the Buccaneers managed to shut it down. Steve Wilson is the man who made the hit. 31-yard punt, an 8-yard return. So with 2 minutes, 39 seconds left to play, third quarter at Shea Stadium, it's the Jets 17, Tampa Bay 10.
With the all-new S10 Blazer, available with a revolutionary Insta-Track four-wheel drive system. Shift from freewheeling two-wheel drive to four-wheel drive high and back at any speed. S10 Blazer, from America's truck sales leader. Top Chevy trucks are taking charge. And now on new 82 models only, get 10.9% financing that can save you hundreds of dollars on financing costs.
I'm finished.
Change.
I'm not finished. I'm finished.
Take out chart B.
Not finished.
Why put together your documents the hard way?
I'm finished. What?
When IBM has office systems that can revise large documents
I revised the contracts for the meeting. They're fine, and they're on their way.
and even send them across the country completely collated. Now that's a lot easier, isn't it?
I'm finished.
And this. Delete this.
I'm not finished.
The Jets have the ball at their own 33-yard line. First and 10. Buffalo beating Pittsburgh 10-0. Third quarter. 17-10 here. Augustiniak struggles for maybe a yard. Cecil Johnson on the bottom of the pile. Hugh Green helped out. Jets jumped out quickly, 14-0. It'll be 2nd and 8. Augustiniak and McNeil, the runners. Wesley Walker and Bobby Jones, the wide receiver. Intended for Bobby Jones. Incomplete. Right now, let's go for an update to Brent Musburger.
Pat, the Pack tries to come back. They'll kick it off with Jan Stenerud. Alvin Hall fields it on the 4, comes right up the middle for the Detroit Lions, and suddenly there's an alley. And he's underway. 96 yards for the touchdown, and right now the Lions are blowing away the Green Bay Packers by 30. Back to Pat and John.
All right, Brent, thanks. 17-10. The Jets over Tampa Bay. Just over 2 minutes left, third quarter. Walker and Jones, the wide receiver. Quickly over the middle, incomplete. Intended for Bobby Jones. The Jets will have to punt. Hugh Green on the coverage. Probably, as well as any linebacker in the NFL, Hugh Green is given more pass coverage responsibility, and he does it extremely well.
Which really is an advantage because he can cover a tight end or a back, and then that allows the Buccaneers to double other people and outside receivers.
Chuck Ramsey back to kick for the Jets. Holt and Bell back deep. Good kick this time by Ramsey. It'll be Bell. Fumble! And Bell gets quickly on top of the ball. After he dropped it, the best thing to do is not to try to pick it up, but get on it. Next Saturday, John Matt and I will make the trip to the West Coast for the match between the Rams and the Raiders. John leaves tonight, gets there Wednesday. On Sunday, this is what will happen around the NFL on CBS. The Giants at Washington, Minnesota, Detroit, St. Louis, Chicago, Green Bay at Baltimore, and New Orleans at Dallas. First down, Bucs. And look out, Doug. Thrown behind Kevin House. Big rush by two of the Jets, the two defensive ends, and both of them stay down on the ground. Gastineau and Kenny Neal. Gastineau. See what happened to him.
He's starting from the outside again. He's working on number 62, Sean Farrell. You see there, he just worked to the outside of him. Doug Williams throws. He tries to avoid Doug Williams, and he runs into his own guy, Kenny Neal. They're both all right.
Well, Neal might have kicked him in the leg. Baltimore, winless, leading Minnesota 10-7. Third quarter. It'll be 2nd and 10 for Tampa Bay. Williams will throw again. Gets out of the pocket, goes deep. intended for House. He had it. Got a rebound. Jackson back there on the coverage along with Ken Troy.
Let's watch House here. He's on Bobby Jackson, number 40. You see Jackson sits here. He didn't get a bump. House just runs right by him, but the ball was thrown a little short, and that gave Jackson the time to react, and House had to stop and come back to it. He just would have thrown that ball out a little more. You know, Gastineau usually doesn't take an inside move, and you see why. Because once he starts inside, he's easy to push inside. That's why he usually stays outside.
Third down and 10. Headed for Giles. It's picked off by Troy. Ken Troy to the 30. Pointing out what blockers he wants. He's out of bounds at the 12. Kevin House knocked him out of bounds. 33-yard pass interception return.
Williams was trying to get that one in the middle again against that double rotation. Now Stroy works to the outside. He throws it in there. See, Stroy started outside, saw the ball in the air, and just react back to the middle of the field. I think here he spends a little too much time pointing, and he lets Giles catch him from behind.
The ball is at the 12-yard line where the Jets will have it first and 10. A minute, 23 seconds left to play third quarter. 60,370 tickets were sold to this game. 28,147 showed up. There are 32,223 no-shows.
And those 28,147 are 28,000 tough people to survive this. They're doing a lot of moving, though, a lot of clapping, a lot of dancing, a lot of yelling, snowball throwing. They have to do something to keep active.
Richard Todd, McNeil, and Augustiniak, the two backs. Todd will go to work on first down. Walker get down quickly. Norris Thomas up there, and very little gain, maybe a yard.
Let's see if we can watch that interception on the chalkboard. Now here's Troy way up here. Now he's going to start to rotate here. The corner comes up. When he sees the tight end comes down, he comes off the outside and back into the inside. Let's watch it. See, now this is a double rotation. See the corners? They're the short guys. They'll rotate up. See, Troy starts to the outside, sees the ball thrown, breaks back in, gets a good jump on the ball. See, against that same coverage, they had completed one to Giles earlier.
There was a penalty on that last play. First down, they move the ball back to the 21-yard line. Pass was complete to Walker. The personal foul call. Here is Todd outside Walker. Walker stays on his feet. Walker down to the 1. Norris Thomas out there with him. But those quick feet of Wesley Walker got that done.
Remember what Wesley Walker did on that same thing against Detroit. See if we can see him again. It's just a little quick pass out here. Walker catches it. Norris Thomas comes up, tries to get in position. He makes a little move, runs into his own man, and of course gets the ball down to about the 2-yard line.
And Walker goes out limping after that fine effort. He ran into Bobby Jones down close to the goal line. They're down to the 1-yard line, first and goal. What was that, John? Somebody just threw something else at him.
That was a football.
Crutchfield. Billy McNeil. This is a fake to Durkin. A touchdown to Mickey Schuler. Good throw from Todd. Hugh Green was out there with him, but Todd just lopped it over his head.
That was one of the things we talk about that Hugh Green can do is cover man-to-man and a tight end. And that time, the tight end, Mickey Schuler, we see here, 82, he beat Hugh Green. Well, that's what they're trying to do. They're down here in the goal line, so they'll go a little play fake. To the right of your screen is Schuler. See, they fake the play that way, the run that way. Schuler runs the corner. Hugh Green's man-to-man, and he can't catch up with him.
They went 11 yards. yards after the interception. And the extra point is no good by Leahy.
Let's watch the touchdown again. We see Schuler out there. He came off the line. He was open all the way. He was waving and waiting for it, but he still had a step on Hugh Green.
The extra point by Leahy, no good. It's 23-10 now, with 14 seconds left to play in the third quarter. That could turn out to be a very, very big 1 point, that missed conversion.
You know, for some reason, those things usually come back to haunt you.
It turned out to be a big factor in that thriller yesterday with San Francisco against San Diego. 3-0. New England leads Miami. Fourth quarter.
Isn't it ironic that the two teams in Florida on a cold winter day in December are both playing in the East?
Washington 9, St. Louis nothing, third quarter. All field goals by Mosley.
Washington is for real.
I really think they are.
They were undefeated. They were beaten last week by Dallas, but they're a real contender.
They're very well coached by Joe Gibbs.
They sure, and when that Super Bowl tournament starts, one of the teams there will be the Washington Redskins.
Well, they say that, well, it's the opinion of almost everybody around that 5 victories will get you in the playoffs. Washington wins today, that'll be 5.
I would think so. And the other important thing is, though, you want to get those wins because the top 4 teams will all be able to play at home.
Here's Leahy's kickoff. Drives Michael Morton over into the corner. The kick goes out of the end zone. They'll start from the 20. Once again, we remind you that next Saturday, the NFL Today begins the afternoon of pro football. Los Angeles Rams against the Los Angeles Raiders. And that's where John Madden and I will be.
Yeah, we're talking about the good teams in the National Conference, the Washington Redskins, Dallas Cowboys. I think one of the good teams in the American Conference right now are the Raiders. I think the Cincinnati Bengals and Los Angeles Raiders are probably playing as well as anyone in that conference.
Marcus Allen, of course, off to a great start. Here's Williams to Carver. Carver around the outside, got 2 or 3 tough yards. Greg Buttle made the stop. Walt Michael, who is a tough player himself, the head coach of the New York Jets. That's the end of the third quarter with the score: the Jets 23, the Buccaneers 10. We now pause for a word from your local station.
Tuesday, it's the television debut of E.T. Join host Robin Williams for a fun-filled adventure with all those flying gizmos and creepy creatures. E.T. and Friends, Tuesday.
This is CBS.
We bet you're gonna want one. Betcha.
Introducing the sporty new Nissan Pulsar NX. Costs half as much as it looks. Headlights wink.
I want one.
5 speeds, 4-speaker stereo, sunroof, power steering, all standard.
I want one.
It's at your Dodson dealer now. The Nissan Pulsar NX. Wow. We bet you're gonna want one.
Does your business have this problem? Service a big customer, the small ones suffer. Service the small ones, the big ones suffers. For the solution, ask a New York telephone account executive about telemarketing. It's a coordinated system businesses use to contact customers by phone. Rossett & Dunlap Publishing tried it, and profits per telephone sale went up 50%. Call New York Telephone and find out how your business can profit through telemarketing. You, too, can strike the right balance.
Warner Wolf's Plays of the Year, Friday.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Trinitron from Sony, the one and only. And by De Beers, the name that stands for diamond. The diamond is forever.
Shea Stadium. One more quarter to play. Those are chemical heat packs being used by the Bucs over on their sideline. Instant hot packs. Wilder is the lone setback. Second down. Williams drops. Out to Wilder, who slides as he makes the catch out of the 20. Jerry Holmes out there with him. That interception that Williams suffered a minute ago, by the way, it's 10-10 Baltimore, Minnesota. He had thrown 137 in a row without suffering an interception.
Well, there's two things that Williams does real well. One is avoid the sack. He doesn't take an awful lot of sacks, in fact, probably less than anyone, and not throw interceptions because he's so big and strong that one, he can get away from sacks, and two, he'll throw the ball away.
House out wide to the right on 3rd and 9. Bucs operating from their own 21-yard line. Williams drops again. Oh. Intended for Gerald Carter. A little behind him, and it's incomplete.
Let's take a look down there and see what they're doing to Mark Gastineau. We see Giles stays in. See, they start the tight end, the tackle on him, and then they bring the right guard out on him, or the center it was in that case, Jim Leonard. That's the old triple team. I can get paranoid when that happens to you.
It's pretty tough to beat.
Who blocked you? Well, the tight end did. Who else? Well, the tackle did. Who else did? They say, no, they don't have that many guys.
Not sure. Swider's kick comes to Harper, who handled it. Harper gets to about the 48-yard line, 47 before he's taken down. 41-yard punt, 10-yard return, 23-10. As we have 13:58 left to play, the Jets are up by 13.
The Arctic Circle. The winters can be 10 months long and 50 below. So people stay home and watch a lot of TV. Maybe that's why the Takiak family chose the only TV to win an Emmy for its beautiful picture, the Sony Trinitron. But maybe the Takiaks chose a Sony because the nearest TV repairman is 250 miles away.
13:58 left to play. The Jets 23, Tampa Bay 10. Pat Summerall with John Madden, and we're at Shea Stadium, which is less than half full. Over 33,000 no-shows, 32,223 to be exact. And I imagine some of the fans who started the day here have already gone. Here is Todd to Augustiniak. Didn't get back to the line of scrimmage. Dave Stalls and Cecil Johnson. Cincinnati 17, Cleveland 10, fourth quarter. Those Bengals looking tough again. Richard Todd on the day, 14 out of 21 for 153 yards. Buffalo has gone even further in front of the Pittsburgh Steelers, 13-0. Here it's 2nd and 11. Augustiniak lost a yard. Bucs faking blitz, and now here it comes. Todd throws intended for Freeman McNeil, incomplete.
One of the things...
Excuse me, John, go ahead.
Excuse me.
I was just going to say Jeff Davis was on the coverage.
One of the things that both the teams are having trouble with are making the cuts now, and I think the quarterbacks are used to throwing timing and leading someone in front or thinking that they'll stop and come back, and they really can't do that. They can't make sharp cuts. They can't stop and come back towards the quarterback, and so that's just throwing the timing off a little on both sides.
Bucs now go with a four-man front. Booker Reese in to help with the rush. Todd is being chased by Selman. Has a man open. That's Walker. Walker trying to get that first down and comes very nearly accomplishing that.
You know, it's so important that a quarterback can just move a little. Let's watch number 63 there, Leroy Selman. He's going against Chris Ward. See, now Ward just bumps him. just bumps him by. Todd steps up, buys a little time, and can still get the ball off to Wesley Walker.
And almost got the first down with that effort. In fact, it's close enough for them to measure.
There's a guy, number 65 there, Joe Fields, that is really doing an outstanding job of handling that middle today. He and Dave Logan have a real good battle going.
Oh, there's Coach. That'll help your pass rush. There's Joe Fields, who really, they didn't give much of a chance when he first started, but he's just simply worked very hard and has become an outstanding center. Many think the best in football. Bobby Jones out to the left. Todd will throw. Nothing doing. Augustiniak was the closest jet in the area, covered by Hugh Green.
You see the job of pass protection that Fields did on that on Dave Logan. Now, most centers get help in there in pass protection because it's tough. They have to snap the ball and then get up. Look, he gets there, good position, has a little hole. See, hold on, it's okay in the left jersey. Stay square, right in front of him, stay in between he and the quarterback.
That is a tough job. You not only got to block, you got to hold and get away with it.
Because that Dave Logan is one of the best nose tackles in the game, and Fields is blocking a man-to-man.
It'll be 2nd and 10 from the 43-yard line of Tampa Bay. Todd makes the draw. Throws down the middle. McNeil is wide open. Freeman McNeil is inside the 20 to the 19. Cedric Brown made the stop. McNeil might be shaken a bit. 24-yard pickup.
I think we're going to see that same type of coverage. We'll see. Todd comes back here. It's a little play fake. The guard pulls. He gets it off quickly to McNeil. No one is in that middle. You don't see a linebacker. You don't see a safety. No one in there until after he catches the ball. Let's see if we can see what happens here. We'll see a double rotation. We're going to see this type of rotation here and the secondary off, and Freeman McNeil just sneaks right in here to the middle where there's no one there. Now watch what the play fake does. Let it go here. See, we see the safeties off. You see the play fake holds the linebackers, lets McNeil get there in the middle all by himself, and then he's able to run another 4 or 5 yards. So what they try and do is hold the linebackers with a play fake, get the secondary off and rotated, and then sneak McNeil inside.
McNeil limping off. Caught three passes today, 49 yards. The field is very hard by now. Scott Durking will take his place. First and 10. The ball is at the Buccaneer 19. The Jets already lead 23 to 10. 11:55 left to play. Jones up wide to the right. Walker to the left. Durking. Nothing. Hugh Green and Jeff Davis, number 58.
I was saying, I don't know. It sounded good when I called it. He said it easy to call, hard to do.
Here comes the message in. Derek Gaffney. Todd back to throw. Has time. Has it almost picked off by Cedric Brown. Intended for Gaffney. Brown almost came up with the interception, and he is really disgusted that he didn't. Penalty marker down.
Well, they finally scored up there in New England.
Penalty is against Tampa Bay.
Illegal contact, defense, 41. That's a first down.
New England beat Miami. That's a final, 3-0. And the people here, of course, love it. because the Jets were tied with the Dolphins going into today, and they play them next week. 1st and 10 at the 13. Scott Durking down to about the 6 or 7. Good yardage. Edric Brown and Brantley made the stop.
We'll see in here. We'll see the double team on the nose tackle on that play, and that gave them a little soft spot in there so that they could get in and pick up that 5 or 6 yards. That's a big running play down in this area. And of course, the other thing that the Jets are doing now is they're controlling the ball and taking a lot of time off this clock.
The ball's at the 6-yard line now. 2nd and 3. Bruce Harper and Augustiniak now the Jet runner. This is Harper. Harper to about the 1. Looked like he would get nothing out of that play, and he got about 5.
It looked like he would get nothing until Marvin Powell, his big right tackle, showed up. He was out there. Powell again pull. Let's see if we can see this from the end zone. Now we'll start here, and it's a flip out there. Now watch number 79, Powell. See, he's waiting there. He's waiting. Now, Powell, you block him. Okay, I got him. Now he gave him some more yardage. You see that? That's where he got it. Those big linemen getting out in front and making blocks. I love it.
Down to about the half-yard line. 1st down and goal. Durking, touchdown. Yards, 10 plays. They kept the ball 4 minutes, 30 seconds. Here's the touchdown.
That's that tough formation over to the right side. Good blocking over there by Marvin Powell again. Jerome Barkham, the right guard, Dan Alexander, all giving a hole there for Durkin.
And once again, the extra point is no good. It is 29-10, and Leahy, having all kinds of problems, has missed 2 extra points.
Great double team there. We're talking about Marvin Powell and Jerome Barkham making nice block. It was a double team block, and they collapsed the whole right side of the line.
You men, there's only one reason you wear cologne. Only one reason. Women. Hey, that's okay. Why do you think we use perfume? But as long as you're going to do it, you might as well do it right. Use this cologne, English leather. Because English leather drives women crazy. Now, can you think of a better reason to wear a cologne? English leather drives women crazy.
For the special times, for the happy times, for what's been, for what will be. For all the years and all the tears, for what you mean to me. For all you give me, a diamond, and forever I give to you.
Don't you have more than Christmas to celebrate? Give her a diamond.
Next Saturday, they meet for the first time, and both in their hometown. The Los Angeles Rams against the Los Angeles Raiders. Stay with the winners next Saturday on CBS Sports.
9:28 left to play. Leahy will kick off. Michael Morton, again, can't find a handle. Starts out to his right, is knocked down at the 10-yard line. Rusty Gilbo is down quickly.
Let's watch that blocked extra point. You see the one standing right back there? That's Cedric Brown. And the white coming back. Now watch him. He'll come right up to the middle. Now Leahy makes a low kick. Watch Cedric Brown. He gets up there, and it hit him right under the left arm. Or he hit it with his under left arm.
It may not have been good anyway if he didn't hit it.
It was kicked too low.
Yeah. 29-10. The most points Tampa Bay has given up in a long time. 27 games to be exact. Williams throwing a screen, or trying to. Wilder, the intended receiver. But the Jets had it diagnosed very well. Marty Lyons. Washington 12-4 field goals now. St. Louis nothing, fourth quarter.
Doug Williams 13 for 28 and 127 yards, and now it gets tougher because when the Jets get this lead, now they're really teeing off in the pass rush and dropping off on the coverage.
Williams gets away from it. Chased by Gastineau. Williams still running. Runs out of bounds. Williams got very close to a first down. Buffalo 13, Pittsburgh nothing. Can't remember a day when it looks like there are going to be as many shutouts as there are today.
Well, this weather does tend to affect that type of thing, and at least here we have, it's cold weather, but it's dry weather. I think where you get the cold and wet, you know, it could have that type of effect on the game.
Like they're going to have to measure to see if Williams did get it. 9:06 left to play. The Jets lead 29-10. And they will measure. Ben Dright's the only one in the whole ballpark that doesn't look cold.
Again, he's from Colorado. He's used to that.
Missed by about 6 inches, making a first down on the scramble. Next Saturday, the weather conditions certainly should be different. We'll be at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. The Rams, a troubled team, against the Raiders. On Sunday, the Giants, Washington, that shapes up as a pretty good match. Minnesota, Detroit, St. Louis, Chicago, Green Bay, Baltimore, and New Orleans at Dallas. Third down, about a foot. Williams sneaks, he gets it. Speaking of that contest between the Saints and the Cowboys, look at the standings. New Orleans never been in the playoffs in the history of their franchise. Washington is headed in that direction. Dallas has been almost every year for the last 16, all but one, in fact. Green Bay lost today, or is losing. Williams to throw. Does down the middle, right into a bunch of green shirts. Lance Mell was the guy who knocked it down, number 56. Intended for Giles. Watch him on Gastineau.
And he keeps Giles in to help. You know, help Sean Farrell start. Now he can give him to Farrell. Farrell takes some throws into the inside, and then Giles gets out into the pass pattern. That's one thing with Gastineau. It looks like to me on pass protection, you want to get him inside you because he looks like he has his feet close together, and when he gets inside, you can push him down. He is really tough outside.
2nd and 10. Batted up in the air and intercepted. Greg Buttle comes up with the interception for the Jets. Second off Doug Williams. The 5th turnover by the Bucs. Ben Rudolph is the man who deflected the ball.
Rudolph will get the deflection. We'll see here. Number 76, he put his right hand up, hit it. Buttle was covering there, comes underneath it. Linebackers love it.
Behold
called a miracle. Introducing the Nimslo 35mm three-dimensional camera. Watch this startling dramatization. You take photographs in 3 dimensions with regular 35mm film. Your family seems so real you could reach in and hug them. The fully automatic Nimslo camera, the most important camera in your lifetime. When was the last time you performed a miracle?
8:18 left to play. It's 29-10. The Jets over Tampa Bay, and the Jets in a position here to get more. Durkin and Crutchfield, the 2 backs. Crutchfield. Down to about the 11. Stopped by Cedric Brown. Marty Lyons, then replaced by Rudolph. Marty has a hamstring problem and will not be back.
One of the problems with this type of weather is staying warm. You know, you get warm, you get stretched out, then you have to sit on a bench, and it's so cold that your muscles tend to tighten up and, you know, get shorter, and then you make a quick move, and you tend to pull a lot of muscles in this type of weather.
Richard Todd fakes to Durkin and rolls left himself, throws, intended for Barkham, knocked down by Andy Hawkins for the Bucs.
Andy Hawkins is one of the players that really impressed Coach Walt Michaels. He was telling us yesterday, he said Hugh Green plays that other side, and we know he's good. He said, but I've been watching this Andy Hawkins guy, and he says he is really a player. He says he has great feet, and he's hard to run against, and he said he's hard to throw the ball on, and we can see right here what he's talking about. I tell you, that's a great effort by a linebacker.
Way back that deep in the end zone. Back with a guy who can run like Barkham. Bruce Harper, one of the runners, Durkin the other. This is when they like to throw it. Todd looking, throwing away outside. Harper was the closest man there, but he just threw that one away.
That's right, the fans don't like this because that brings on poor old Pat Leahy again, but Richard Todd knew he was in good field position. He didn't want to do anything to lose that field position, so he just threw it away. I'll tell you, this is one good thing. You know, the Jets really have this game 29-10. You have to get that kicker back there on the field again and have him have some success.
And let him start to believe in himself again. It's good. The extra points are tough, but the field goal's okay. That'll make it to New York Jets 32 and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 10.
Ring in the holidays. Ring out the year. Sparkling with Andre. Love and good cheer. Take Andre home for the holidays. Andre for the holidays.
What's a celebration without Andre Champagne to lend sparkle and elegance to your good times? Greet the season and your friends with the best. Andre.
For the holidays and all year long.
In his Toyota Supra challenged Pikes Peak. This road has been challenging cars since 1916.
And sometimes it wins.
The peak has curves that challenge Supra's independent suspension and rack and pinion steering.
Goes the road better than some race cars.
Inclines push the Supra's electronically fuel-injected twin-cam 6. The 1983 Toyota Celica Supra. It takes the right stuff to challenge the peak.
And this is the right stuff.
Next Saturday on CBS Sports, postseason college football thrills as they vie for the Division I AA championship. The action continues next Saturday on CBS Sports.
Don't forget that next Saturday at 12 Eastern Time, Eastern Kentucky against Delaware. Division I AA championship. Plays kickoff, bounces, and goes out of bounds. From the 30 now.
Because that's a 5-yard penalty, but this has really been a tough time in Pat Leahy.
Oh, right.
That's good.
Washington 12, St. Louis 7 now.
Now we talk about surprise teams. That St. Louis Cardinals have surprised some people. I think before it's all over, they'll surprise some more.
Might see them in the playoffs.
Yeah, they had a big week last week, and O.J. Anderson didn't even play.
Detroit 30, Green Bay 3, third quarter. Don't forget opening day. Way back before the strike and everything, how they came back against the Rams, the Packers.
Well, they come back today, you'll have a story.
It'll be a long game if they make it back all the way. 32-10 at Shea Stadium. The Jets over Tampa Bay. Leahy will kick off from the 30. Michael Morton and Melvin Carver. Back deep. It's going to be Morton. They haven't been able to handle kickoff in a long time. They still haven't handled it. And finally, together, they capture it. They have left it on the ground a few times.
We just heard that Freeman McNeil for the Jets has bruised ribs, and he won't return today. I'm sure with a score of 32-10 that the Jets don't need Freeman McNeil anymore this afternoon.
Not on a day like today. Certainly not. Doug Williams. It's been a long day for him. Carter in motion. Williams drops the throw. Looks outside to Wilder and has him. Wilder is hit by Bobby Jackson. Minnesota now has gone ahead of Baltimore 13-10, fourth quarter.
Baltimore's getting closer, though.
Yeah, they are.
They haven't won yet, but they're getting closer each week.
That's the yardstick on what's happened today. Wilder has caught 9 passes, however. Second and 6. 6:35 left to play. Carter comes in motion. Williams drops back again. Avoids the rush for a minute. That will not be intentional grounding. Kenny Neal, who has played very well, replacing the injured Joe Klecko.
We'll see Kenny Neal here. Walt Michaels said at first, when he first started to play for Klecko, he said he was a little tentative. He was staying on the line more. He said, but now he has his he said he plays well against the run, and he's starting to get that pass rush, and he said we can feel the difference each time he plays.
So it'll be 3rd and 6. There's Williams stepping up in the pocket again, throws out to Wilder, and Wilder have a first down. Wilder still on his feet. Wilder still going out of bounds at the Jet 40. Darrell Ray finally got him down. 32-yard gain, Williams to Wilder.
One of the things with the Buccaneers pass offense is they started finding that on first down that they can hit Wilder on these type of plays, but then they started going to Wilder and Giles all the time, and they really have stayed away from their outside receivers, and they're hitting the tight end and the back and so on underneath, but they aren't getting the ball up the field to the wide receivers.
Good run by Wilder. First down, Bucs at the Jet 40. 6:16 left to play. 32-10 the score. Williams reverse coming. This is House doing a dance. Lost a yard. Jackson made a good play.
I'll tell you who made a good play or a good try as a quarterback, Doug Williams. Watch him. He has to block Gastineau here. You see, he takes the shot right there at his leg, and he did slow him up enough. It's tough for the quarterback when you say, look, now you hand the ball off, and then you turn and lead, and you block the defensive end. Whew.
Not used to doing that. So it'll be 2nd and 11. Williams out to Wilder again. Jackson jumped over. Incomplete. Wilder couldn't quite make the stretch. Cincinnati picked up a field goal. It's now 20-10 over Cleveland. There is something that we were talking about last night, John.
You know, I was talking about, attempts. The average length of Doug Williams' passes today have been 10.6 yards. I think that's important. Sometimes when you look at average, it depends on how far they throw the ball. Sometimes you get someone throwing a lot of screens and dumps, and they have a high percentage, but they don't throw the ball up the field. Doug Williams usually does.
Carter went in motion left. Williams looks and throws. Theo Bell down to about the Jet 15. Jerry Holmes made the stop. That's a good throw from Williams. 25-yard gain, too.
Here's Theo Bell isolated. We see him here on the outside. He's running. It's an in pattern. He'll stop. You see, the problem they have is they can't come under control. They can't make those sharp cuts, so they just slow down a little and then start running the other way.
That's not for today. That's for this year. The stats. First down, Buccaneers at the Jet 16. They trail 32-10. Williams, a lot of time, has his pass complete to Kevin House. Not much yardage accomplished on that one.
I tell you, the one that gets credit for this is the Jet secondary, because watch Williams. He's looking left. He's looking left. He has double coverage there to the left. He can't do anything about that. He has to turn back to the right and come off short to Kevin House. But that was excellent coverage by the right side of the Jet defense, Jerry Holmes, and the weak safety, Darrell Ray.
They only got a yard and a half out of it. So it'll be second down from the 15. They need 9 for a first. 4-8 left to play. Williams looking down the middle. Pass is deflected at the last minute. Not sure if it was Giles or Carter for whom it was intended. They were both in the same area.
It's two excellent plays by Darrell Ray in a row. The first one, he was double coverage. He didn't give Williams any place to throw the ball. And then, of course, that second one there. I'll tell you, he is as good as most weak safeties in this league.
Darrell Ray, who's also a fine runner, was a quarterback in college, leads the Jets in interceptions. 3rd and 9 for Tampa Bay now. Wilder, touchdown, his second of the day. Same swing pass, thrown well. Crable made the hit.
Crable was about as close as you can get. He doesn't know. He's standing here with his hands on his hips. He can't believe how that ball got to James Wilder. Let's watch it. It's that same swing pass that the Buccaneers have been throwing all day. I watched Crable just miss the ball, and of course that gave Wilder enough room to get into the end zone.
Capice with Swider holding. Try to make it 32-17. 3:55 left to play. Capice hits. So as the stadium continues to empty, scores 32-17.
This is the type of play that the Buccaneers have been having success with, just taking James Wilder and just looping him out here. Doug Williams coming back, finding the area and hitting him. A missed tackle right here, and he runs it into the end zone. See, what they try and do is they have the 3 wide receivers. Watch this. They start motion, run the secondary off deep. Now that gives Wilder room underneath. Crable just misses the ball. All the rest of the Jet defenses run off into the end zone, and Wilder takes it in. Now there is a young-looking kicker.
He looks like he's about 15.
He says he has a lot of stuff underneath there. He has a sweatshirt, a turtleneck. Look at that. That's a young-looking guy. He looks like about a sophomore in high school. They don't have sophomore proms. What do they have? The sock hop.
The sophomores wait on the tables at the senior prom. Onside kick. Looks like that's what they're going to do. And they do. And the Jets, Derek Gaffney just falls on it. James Wilder, by the way, has caught 11 passes for 116 yards today. And that, for number of receptions, is a Buccaneer record. And the hail of snowballs continues. Spinning up the middle. Jets will just try to run out as much of the clock as they can. Tonight on CBS, 60 Minutes. First, of course, Archie Bunker's Place, Gloria, the Jeffersons, One Day at a Time, and Trapper John Indy. Not a very happy sideline, at least on one side, the Buccaneer side.
And of course, on the other sideline, the Jets are in great shape now.
Yeah. Could be their 5th win of the year.
5-1 in this shortened season. 3 more games to go, and I think that really 5 wins is going to put you in the tournament. And of course, the Jets probably with this win will cinch a place in the tournament, but that's not enough. I think they want to keep going, and when they get in, is start getting that home field advantage.
Buccaneer player shaken up on first play. Let's go back and look at what the standings were when today began. Washington 4-1, Dallas 4-1, Green Bay 4-1, and New Orleans 3-2. If that'll all change. St. Louis also 3-2 as the day began. The Giants, who won yesterday, 3-3. Chicago, Detroit, and Tampa Bay all 2-3. Minnesota also. San Francisco, after their loss yesterday, 2-4. The Rams 1-4, and Philadelphia now 1-5.
Now, I think after this weekend, anyone that has 3 wins has a pretty good shot at getting in this tournament. You have 2 wins, it may be a little tough. There's Andy Hawkins, who we were talking about, that impressed Walt Michaels so much.
They're shaken up on that first play. It'll be 2nd and 10. Jets have the ball at the Buccaneer 49-yard line. Pitch out to Durking. And Durking down the sideline, good yardage. However, there's a penalty marker down. As they talk, we'll remind you that this telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the New York Jets and the National Football League is prohibited. Checking what's happening in the AFC, the Jets 4-1. Miami 4-2 down at the bottom, that lost today. Pittsburgh 4-1. Raiders 4-1. Cincinnati 4-1. And then San Diego 4-2 after yesterday's victory. Buffalo 3-2. New England 3-3. Cleveland, and so on down the line. Baltimore 0-5. Dwayne Crutchfield and Scott Durking, the running back tandem. Todd has the ball batted away by Norris Thomas. He was looking out in the direction of Mickey Schuler.
I think one thing as we watch these Jets today, they've really proven that they're one of the top teams in the National Football League because they have great balance. On offense, they're number 1 in the conference, and they seem to be able to run and pass with equal effectiveness. Then on defense, they're number 1 in the conference. They play to run very well, and they play to pass very well. That's about all you need in this league.
Yeah, that'll get you a lot of places in the postseason. This is Durking again. Durking gets away from one man, stays on his feet, scrambles, and scraps.
The Jets are just going to try and keep the ball on the ground, run the run the ball, keep the clock going, and just get this game over with. Stay healthy.
And get warm.
One thing, they played today without Lamb Jones, and, you know, they should have him back next week. He didn't practice all this week, and they said he may play, but they didn't think he would. And, of course, he didn't. They didn't need him.
Michael said he didn't want to use him. Not unless he absolutely had to, and he didn't have to. This is Crutchfield. And Crutchfield gets the first down to about the 21-yard line. Johnny Ray Smith on the tackle.
There's a guy that brings a twinkle to Walt Michaels' eye, Crutchfield, because he is really impressed with this kid. He said he blocks, he runs, he's strong, and he said he just needs a little experience. And again, he'll probably be the starting fullback for the Jets in the near future.
Every time he started to really start to fit into the picture, he either had a personal tragedy, in which case he had to leave training camp for a while, or he had some kind of an injury, I'm sorry. Pretty tough to broadcast dodging snowballs.
I'd like to throw some snowballs back at the people throwing snowballs.
I would too, but I'm afraid to throw something else back.
You know, we played in Denver one year, and George Blanda did that. The fans were throwing snowballs. He was picking them up and throwing them back at the fans.
He had a good arm.
NFL's most valuable player, brought to you by Apple Computer. His flat-topped haircut is as unmistakable as is his unparalleled quarterbacking skill. In 1964, Johnny Unitas leads the Baltimore Colts to a division title and is named the league's most valuable player. A member of Pro Football's Hall of Fame, Unitas is considered by many the greatest quarterback of all time.
My Apple is my manager.
There are more people in more places doing more things with apples than with any other personal computer in the world.
Apple Computer. Produktionskontrolle ohne den Apple? Unmöglich.
And of all these people using apples, most had never touched a computer before.
This is my apple.
Apple, the most personal computer.
Summerall with John Madden. Here we are at Shea Stadium. John's got his snowball going through, throwing back at the field.
Almost got one. I've always wanted to do that.
I'm glad you got your chance. This is Crutchfield again. Cedric Brown on the bottom of the pile. 32-17, the Jets over Tampa Bay.
You know, another thing we talk about this Jet team, I think the thing that I've noticed is the maturity of Richard Todd. I mean, he throws the ball. He's a good field general. He's calmed down. He's really everything that a winning top NFL quarterback has to be.
He said yesterday that he is amazed himself at how much he learns every day. He's been around 6 years. A lot of people think it takes about that long for a quarterback to reach that maturity you talked about. Crutchfield, the ball carrier. Dave Logan on the bottom of the pile. Just over a minute left to play.
You know, he has some pretty good credentials, though, doesn't he? Playing for Bear Bryant at Alabama. Old Bear kind of puts out some good quarterbacks, doesn't it? I know I had one, that left-handers down at New Orleans. I had him, and he was something special.
There was one here that wasn't too bad.
That guy, he wore pantyhose, too.
Name it.
And, of course, Richard Todd. But, you know, George Blanda was a Bear Bryant quarterback. That was at Kentucky.
And don't forget about Bart Starr. Crutchfield again on a stiff arm. Around the corner, struggling to try to get the first down. He came very close. Cedric Brown knocked him out of bounds. Don't forget to stick around after the game. Dick Vermeil, the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, will be in the studio with Brent Nerve. First down. Washington has beaten St. Louis, so the Redskins are 5-1. And that ought just about assured that you'll see the burgundy and gold in the Super Bowl tournament. That's the final score. Cincinnati has beaten Cleveland 23-10.
And you'll see them in the tournament.
20 seconds left. We'll just have a look. That ought to do it.
And we'll see those guys in the green in the tournament.
Those New York Jets. Joe Walton and Walt Michaels trotting off. There's a cold, bitter day at Shea Stadium in New York. The Jets, to them, that's jet weather. Doug Williams and Richard Todd in conversation. Both quarterbacks. Tough days for them. But a very successful day for Richard Todd. Remind you again that James Wilder caught 11 passes on the day for Tampa Bay, scored 2 touchdowns, and that 11 catches is a new Buccaneer record. The executive producer of the NFL on CBS is Terry O'Neill, who is in attendance today. Senior producer Charles Milton. Chuck. This game today produced by Bob Stenner. Directed by Sandy Grossman. Thank you, gentlemen. Associate producer Joan Vitrano. And, of course, the rest of our crew. We took a pretty good bombardment at Shea Stadium today. Dick Vermeil again will be with Brent Musburger and Irv Cross in our studio. So from Shea Stadium, for John Madden, this is Pat Summerall saying so long. Jets 32, Tampa 17. Now to Brent Musburger in New York.
All right, Pat, nice job out there with John Madden today. As the Jets push their record to 5-1, they are indeed for real. And, you know, Dick Vermeil, I'm surprised at the kind of an entire unit they have put together with the Jets. The offense seems to have caught up with the defense with that ball club.
Well, the Jets were down for a number of years, and they did a good job at drafting, and now they sort of molded as a football team. They're very physical on both sides of the line of scrimmage. It used to be just the offensive line was so physical. Now the defense is so much stronger, and they have a great confidence in their pass rush, and the secondary playing well. They have a winning football team.
That Mark Gastineau's a load, isn't
Yes, he is.
All right, we've got a lot of action around the league. Let's get everybody up to date right now, Irv, and tell them what's going on. We've got some surprises. Detroit, as I'm sure you're well aware now, rolling over Green Bay in Green Bay, 33 right now. They are in the fourth quarter of that game. Meanwhile, Minnesota has beaten Baltimore. Frank Kush was tied at 10. Rick Danmeyer won it with a field goal, 13-10, the Vikings over the Colts. And Cincinnati now comes away a win. So Cincinnati and the Jets remain tied atop the AFC. 23-10, Cincinnati over the Cleveland Browns. And in a thriller just over, Washington hangs on to down St. Louis 12-7. Before we finish with this postgame, you'll see a Hail Mary with time running out that might have pulled that one out for the Cardinals. And New England a winner in the most controversial game of the day. This drops the Dolphins out of that tie for first in the AFC, and we'll tell you about that controversy a little bit later. Buffalo downs Pittsburgh, so now they fall behind the Jets and the Bengals. 13-0, the Bills a winner, and of course the Jets come away with a win, 32-17 over Tampa Bay, and we'll continue on the NFL Today in just a moment.
If you have to wait a week for business news, maybe it's not news anymore. The Wall Street Journal gives you today's business news today, so you can use it today.
Get all the business news you need when you need it. Get the Wall Street Journal, delivered every business day for 6 months for $47, just 37 cents a day. Phone toll free, 800-228-2210. That's 6 months, $47, only 37 cents a day. Phone 800-228-2210 now.
This little demonstration is for everyone who thought they could never afford European performance. Introducing Renault Alliance. Fully independent suspension with twin-axial torsion bars that force the wheels to hug the road. Renault Alliance closes the gap between European technology and affordability. $55.95. Renault Alliance. Quality and affordability built in America.
So we have had two teams fall out of that first-place tie in the AFC, the Bengals and the Jets, now ahead of it at 5-1, and still we await the outcome of the Raiders game, still to come against Kansas City. We could have a three-team tie up there. Dick Vermeil, as we look around the league, thinking just about the conference standings, how do you think it's gone since the strike? Was it a good idea now to lump the teams into a conference and have 8 from each conference go to the playoffs?
I do. I think it's the most fair thing to do. And, of course, teams like ourselves, when you're out of it, you may think differently. But I think it was the best thing for the league to do. And I think that the teams that were good football teams are becoming better football teams again and playoff caliber football teams.
Irv, you've had a chance now to look at the entire league, check all of the teams. If I had to ask you now to split that tie in the AFC, we've got all the Jet fans watching us. Do you think they are better than the Bengals?
I would think so. I mean, right now they're ranked #1 in total offense. They're ranked #1 in total defense for the entire league. That tells me right now they're the best team in football.
All right. Well, yesterday, of course, Dick Vermeil took on the other New York team that is eyeing that playoff berth, and that would be the Giants. And, Dick, I think I'm going to turn you loose with these highlights.
Well, this is not a highlight for me. It's a highlight for Ray Perkins. It's a Ron Jaworski interception. Throwing over, Terry Jackson picks it off. It's one of 2 interceptions during the day, and Wilbert Montgomery came over and did a good job of stopping it from scoring. We had problems. Our special teams, Max punting out of the own end zone, punted a low-line driver to Bright, and he's a fine returner coming out of Canada. And he darn near breaks this thing. You'll see who makes the tackle. Max Runiger, our punter. And we haven't had punt protection or coverage problems. Now, here's Ron Jaworski throwing a corner pattern for a touchdown to Harold Carmichael, and he did a super job, and we were up at that time 7-3. Then we come back with a flea flicker, tight play later on, and Terry Jackson falls off our backside corner and picks it off, and this really ended the ball game for us. I thought it would give us a chance to get the big play, and instead we got killed. Here's the gorilla from Manila coming around the backside. That's what we call him in Philadelphia. The guy is a super player, Lawrence Taylor, and he sacked us from behind. Here he comes from the other side. They moved him over to our right side, and we prepared for him on the left side, and he just whipped us physically.
In other words, Dick, you can't adjust that quickly when he switches sides on you?
Well, he doesn't switch sides very often. I think that maybe they saw what we were doing, trying to keep linemen swinging toward him to pick him up, except in the one instance we had the quick protection on. So they brought him over to the other side, and the linemen were sliding to the left, and all of a sudden he's on a little running back for pickup. And no matter how good a blocker you are as a running back, Lawrence Taylor is tough to block.
Dick, what about the theory about running at a great linebacker? If a guy is a great pursuer from the backside, you run at him and control him. Were you able to do that at all?
Well, we didn't run enough, because when we did run, we didn't run efficiently. The best run we had was a 4-yard gain, and give credit to the Giants. They did a super job. But I really believe he's the best defensive football player in football. I mean that sincerely.
Dick, late in the game, you had a 4th down. You weren't going to win the game. You went ahead and punt rather than turn the ball over, and I think that's all involved in the tie-breaking procedure in the league this year, isn't it?
Well, I felt they'd already beaten us, and even if we could play, throw a Hail Mary pass and get a score, it wasn't going to win the football game for us. And if I didn't do that, if I threw the ball or something like that, didn't complete it, they would have the ball right there in position to score. And with the tiebreaker and everything like that, I respect Ray Perkins and the Giants very much, but I don't want to help them any more than I already did by doing a poor job yesterday.
All right. We're going to come back. We've got more scores and highlights. We'll keep you up to date on everything that is breaking right now in the National Football League in just a moment.
According to a Prestone survey, 7 out of 10 cars on the road have rust in their radiators. Of these, almost half could look this bad. Any radiator could get this bad after just 10,000 miles driving on weak, neglected antifreeze. But look at the Prestone difference. Prestone, with its patented silicone silicate formula, forms a tough, protective barrier to lock out rust and corrosion. Be safe. Put in a fresh fill of Prestone now. Deep inside, trust Prestone. More than 2,000 years ago, before the age of the Caesars, vinifera grapes were first cultivated in Italy. And through the centuries, they have become the grapes that produce the very finest wines in the world. Today, these classic vinifera grapes give Riunite a unique, soft and light taste. Pure and natural Riunite is the world's best-loved imported wine. After all, our roots go back 2,000 years.
Well, we're going to change the pace in a little while and show you some football you may not yet have seen.
But, of course, we are just wrapping up that New York Jet victory. They came away with the win. And standing by now with one of the big men in Manhattan is Pat Summerall, and there he is. Okay, Pat, take it away.
All right, Brent, and certainly he is a big man in a lot of ways. Mark Gastineau.
Hello, Pat. How are you?
Very good. John Madden's here with me. How bad were the playing conditions? Were they really bad?
They really weren't as bad as what I thought it was going to be. It was real cold at first, but then the adrenaline started running in all of us and flowing, and we came out and we had a great game, and the weather didn't play that much of a factor, I don't think, for the Jets, being that the score turned out the way it did. Mark, how was it playing against Sean Farrell? I know it's the first time he's played tackle and being a rookie and all. What did you think going in, and then what did you think during the game, and what do you think now? Well, going in, I knew that he was a rookie and he had played guard, and I figured that they would be keeping Giles in, which they did. I was hoping that if they did keep Giles in on me, it would take away from the passing game, and that's what I was trying to do, is put a lot of pressure and try and keep that tight end in on me. So they did double a lot, and as far as Farrell, he's a great guard, and he's going to be a great tackle if they leave him there, because he's big and strong, and he's got good quickness as far as his feet.
Okay, Mark, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, John. It's nice talking to you.
Appreciate you coming back out.
Thank you.
This is Richard Todd that you're looking at right now. Richard, we asked Mark about the playing conditions, how much they bother you, the cold.
Well, I heard Mark say that, it didn't make that much of a difference. He's a defensive player. If you're an offensive player, you really go in there thinking the team that makes the fewest mistakes. On a day like today, you're going to have bad balls, you're going to have fumbles, and the team that overcomes that, will do the best.
Richard, I was thinking during the game, it looked like the receivers had a tough time planting, and making sharp cuts. Did you call different type of patterns where they didn't have to do that, running type?
No, we just tried to work the short passing game to start off with, and then we got a couple of long plays in there. It looked like the receivers were running on their toes. They really couldn't break like they wanted to. So you just really have to try to control the ball as well as you can without making the big mistakes.
One thing you had today was excellent pass protection, and I noticed in the middle, your center, Joe Fields, was playing against Dave Logan, who's one of the best nose tackles in the league. And Joe, I think you did an excellent job, both run blocking for Freeman McNeil. I saw you one time just turn Logan and take him to the outside, and then in pass protection, one-on-one.
Well, we knew coming into the game that Dave was averaging a sack a game, so that we knew that we had to keep the pressure off Richard up the middle. And we seemed to do a pretty good job of it today.
I'll tell you did an excellent job, and sometimes you guys don't get the credit you deserve, but doggone it, you did a fine job in that middle.
They're the greatest. They're the greatest.
Well, we'll say thank you very much, guys, and thank you for coming out on what was a very unpleasant day, except for you, because you won. Thanks, Richard. Thanks, Joe.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks, Mark. Now, let's go back to Brent Musburger.
All right, Pat, thank you. If Richard ever gets tired of American football, there's always Japan. Yes, football. And we'll have that story for you as we continue on the NFL Today in just a moment.
Jeep asks, why drive a car?
Here, I'm out of town. 90 miles by car or 5 by Jeep. Why drive a car?
I bought my Jeep Wagoneer as a second car. Then I realized, what do I need the first one for?
Why drive a car? Says new Jeep start at just $67.65. Suppose we'll be seeing more of them. Suppose so. Why drive a car when you can drive a Jeep?
A special Christmas gift from Radio Shack. The TRS-80 color computer at $100 off.
Instant loading program packs turn our color TV into a game arcade.
The color computer is also an education center.
There are over 30 games available.
And is perfect for home management.
She's right. With a programmable, expandable computer, you can do more than just play games, like our son's even learning how to program.
Save $100 on the TRS-80 color computer, only at Radio Shack, the computer experts.
I'm George Burns. This is my cigar. These are beautiful girls. And this is my new Polynex Pure Air 99. Works faster. Great for larger rooms. Smoke grabber 6-stage filter with activated charcoal. Removes smoke, dust, pollen, even bad jokes. Smoke enters here. Clean air comes out here. Now I'm leaving these girls and taking out my Pure Air 99. At my age, this is more fun. Goodbye, girls. From Polynex.
born over a decade ago in the finest wine-growing regions of America. It was created from the finest wine grapes that could be grown and brought to perfection by the most experienced winemakers in the world. It is the extraordinary white wine that has shared more of the best of times than any wine made. The wine, Gallo Chablis Blanc, America's premier white wine. From Ernest and Julio Gallo, all the best.
For many years now, the Japanese have had a love affair with American sports, especially baseball. And more recently, they have become fans of our football. And a few weeks ago, when she visited Japan, Phyllis discovered that the Japanese not only like to watch football, they now play it as well. But we think you'll agree that most of our players would have trouble understanding their signals.
I'm in Tokyo, Japan, watching the Nippon University Phoenix football team playing football. When making a Toyota, the Japanese worker attacks it with discipline, devotion, and diligence. Well, the Japanese football player does it the same way, with lots of hard work and enthusiasm. No pampered full scholarship athletes here, only industrial teams with no compensation for playing. These players work tirelessly 5 hours a day, sharpening their skills for little or no glory compared to here in the States. Yet, they love this game because they can emulate their American heroes. Who is your favorite American football team? Professional, Coach.
アメリカのね、プロチームで一番好きなのはダラスカウボーイです。
Who do you admire most, football player and American?
I like George Branda.
George Branda?
Yeah, George Branda. Kicker.
And who is your favorite player?
Mean Joe Green.
High five. Oh, you don't know high five. Put your hand out. Put your hand out. Now slap it. High five. Okay. This week was special for the Nippon team. They were preparing for the National Collegiate Championship to see who's #1 in Japan. Bear Bryant and Joe Paterno would be proud of these stars, and the fans at home saw a great show, Japanese style. No, you're not exactly looking live at sold-out Giant Stadium, but this game has the Japanese National Championship riding on it. The production value on Japanese television has a little different look to it than it does here, and some CBS producers might cringe at this graphic style, but the action is as competitive as it is here. And from the opening kickoff, these players go all out because they say football is brave and masculine.
本当に強い肩も強力なものを持っています。その松岡どうするか。さあタッチダウンかかったOops.
Yes, they have cheerleaders in Japan, just like we have here. And of course, their electronic scoreboards are the state of the art. The enthusiasm is as high as any college game, but you won't find any hot dogs in the stands. Wet noodles and chopsticks do just fine. The pep band fills the timeouts in the stadium, and at home, the viewers get their share of commercials like this.
ご注文はこの看板が目印。ご神仏にエリモの荒巻鮭。ショットガンフォーメーションからどこを狙う松岡。まっすぐタッチダウン。
The hard work paid off for the Nippon University Phoenix. Taking control early, they blew out the Nighty-Dye Golden Bears 58-17. It may not be the NFL, but who cares? It's football and it's fun. This is Phyllis George saying sayonara for CBS Sports.
How's the quarterback call signals over there? Hey, Dick, you'd love football over there. You'd love it. They practice 5 hours a day. That's right. We're going to come back. We'll talk to the coach about the Eagles. We got all the scores and highlights when we continue on the NFL Today in just a moment.
There's a lot about the business world you can't learn in any textbook. You learn it here, the Wall Street Journal. Today's business, always current, always timely. Believe me, it's required reading.
Get all the business news you need when you need it. Get the Wall Street Journal, delivered every business day for 6 months for $47, just 37 cents a day. Phone toll free, 800-228-2210. That's 6 months, $47, only 37 cents a day. Phone 800-228-2210 now.
Now the Cavalry has changed the way car insurance works with Kemper Total, new car repair or replacement coverage. If your car is ever badly damaged in an accident, ordinary insurance might not pay enough to put you on the road again. But Kemper Total will pay the cost to repair your car if possible, or replace it with a brand new car of the same make. About $3 extra a month in most cases. Kemper Total. Only from the Cavalry.
All right, let's get you back now through the scores and some of the most important highlights of the day, especially that controversy up in New England. Detroit and Green Bay. Late in the fourth quarter now, Detroit leading them 30-10. Now, these are final scores from around the league. Minnesota beating the Baltimore Colts 13-10. And, Irv, I think you've got some highlights of that action.
Of me, the Viking mascot now has a mate, eh? But the Baltimore Colts, of course, were fired up. Here, Tommy Kramer goes to number 85, Sammy White, for a Viking touchdown, and things look like business as usual. Kramer, number 9, goes back again. This time, his pass is picked off by number 45, James Burrow, who scampers 94 yards at the left sideline for a touchdown, and the Baltimore Colts took a 10-7 lead, and Frank Kush had dreams of happier times. But late in the ball game, Rick Dammeyer came back with a field goal, and, of course, the Vikings went on to win at 13-10.
All right, Irv, Cincinnati wins again. They push their record now to 5-1, same as the Jets, 23-10 over the Cleveland Browns. Washington hangs on and beats St. Louis 12-7. The Big Ben fails for Jim Hart in that game. New England 3, Miami nothing. Here's the controversial game of the day. The weather was horrible in Foxborough today. Look at them huddled up there against the snow, and I don't think the Patriots went out of their way to make sure that it was Florida playing conditions. Now, keep in mind that Smith missed that field goal right there very early in the game after they had decided to go for the field goal, even though they had a fourth down. Now, this was the longest gain of the game, 24 yards up the middle by Tatapu. Now, here is what Schuler's upset about. They came out when they were setting up to kick the field goal, and the guy that's going to get the game ball is the guy driving the Zamboni. He gets out there and cleans off the field and says Smith missed that one. Look at that. Little strip there. 33-yard field goal is good. Well, Don had a last chance, though, before it was over. Woodley from the shotgun, and this ball will be intercepted by the Patriots at the 10-yard line. We have just had late word from Foxborough. Don Shula has decided not to protest the game. That's the breaks of the game. The Patriots are winners, 3-0 over the Dolphins. Now, Buffalo beats back Pittsburgh, and that is 13-0, the final there. And, of course, most of you watch the Jets. They roll again. They're 5-1. 32-17 over the Bucs. And when I say 5-1, I know how that stings Dick Vermeil, who is in our studio. And, Dick, I have to ask what everybody's asking me. What happened to the Philadelphia Eagles?
Well, Brett, first off, I say Philadelphia people and the fans have really been good to Dick Vermeil, and they have given me a lot of credit for everything that's gone well. And therefore, I assume a lot of the responsibility right now for things going poorly. Evidently, I haven't, and my coaching staff haven't done a good enough job, and that means also some of my players haven't done a good enough job, and here we are sitting 1-5, and I know and they know we're better than a 1-5 football team. We lost 4 games by a total of 14 points, and instead of finding ways to win, we are finding ways to lose. And then what happens is you lose your confidence, not only as a player, but as a team and also as a coach, and you start second-guessing everything you do. And we're in a position that we could go ahead and win 3 football games, and we're in a position we could go ahead and lose 3 football games. But I know for a fact that we have enough good football players to be a lot better than we are right now.
When you went to the Super Bowl a couple years ago, I thought you had a lot of character on your defense, even though Bill Bergey might not have played that much because he was hurt off and on, but you had Charlie Johnson, you had Keith Krepfle. I don't think you've been able to replace those players. I think you've lost a lot of the real strong personalities. Is that inaccurate?
Well, and when we lost Charlie Johnson, now playing for Minnesota, we lost some leadership. There's no question. But Kenny Clark has played the position well, physically well. I think we're not quite as hungry as we were. And I think most winning teams, we were one of 2 teams that have been in the playoffs 4 years in a row. You start taking winning for granted. and then all of a sudden you find yourself in this kind of a situation. But I think we have a lot of pride, and we do have a lot of character people in the organization, and that will come back strong. I really believe that.
Dick, this is not a cop-out. You know, but Leonard Toews, the owner of the Eagles, has said he felt that the strike has hurt his club more than any team in football. Do you sense that as a coach?
Well, Irv, I'm going to stick with my philosophy. We don't need excuses for losing. And too many people spend so much time rationalizing why they don't do something well. And it's just better to keep your mouth shut and find a way to win.
Irv, why? Why would the Eagles be hurt any more than the Lions or the Bears, or were they torn apart internally?
Well, you know, during the strike, you know, the guys were out 57 days. The club just didn't work out. Players split up, went home, and I think you lose something when you're away that long.
Okay. We'll continue here with the NFL today in just a moment.
I'm Pete Rose, and I'm convinced Grecian formula helps me play younger. Yeah, play younger. When I started getting gray, I felt sort of out of shape. Gray hair can sure change how a guy feels about himself. So I got some Grecian, real easy to use, and in a couple of weeks, no more gray.
Grecian formula. It does away with as much gray as you want, some of it or all of it. And the change is so gradual and so natural looking, no one notices.
Feeling in shape is important. Get rid of your gray with Grecian formula. You'll play younger, too.